How's everyone doing this morning? There's nothing like a little loud rock and roll to start your Sunday morning off. Or Sunday evening, depends on where you might be. Not everybody here is having a morning. People like Doug Hewson, it's like he's ready to go to bed. Let's just kill the music. I don't want to keep him up too late. Listen, you guys may have been here before for the 60-second strategy. We're doing a little different today. We're going to be doing specifically thumbnails. And what we do is we're going to be pulling out channels from the chat. We do prioritize super chats first, but we're going to be doing a mix of both. Don't feel like you have to super chat to get your channel pulled up. We get through as many as we can. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull up your channels. We're going to specifically look at your thumbnails, but I'm going to be doing it under the auspice of a 60-second timer, courtesy of the lovely Megan Larson. Megan, say hello to the people.
Hello, everyone.
So if we sound okay, let us know. If we sound okay, you can hear us okay. If there's any problems, let us know, and we'll turn some knobs and push some buttons. That's what we do here. It's all about buttons and knobs. All right, let me see. Who do we have here? Doug Hewson, of course, in the chat. Thank you for being here, Doug. Always a pleasure to have you here, and I'll help you provide for every stream. We get some names I don't know that I've seen before. I see Bush TV. Nice to see you, my friend. Glad to have you here. We've got Bracket Reviews. Sound great. Cool. Man, I appreciate that. This is why I rely on you guys to tell me, like, hey, Daniel, you're too loud. Megan's too loud. Now turn the music off. Shut the stream down. Make any suggestion you feel is fit along the way, and we'll that's what we'll do. Travis, hey, you sound amazing. So listen, let me pull right out. Just like I said, just quickly, don't have to repeat and scream and spam the chat. Just Megan's in there paying attention. So if you have a channel that you think your thumbnails could use an eye on them, just say something in the chat, and Megan will be randomly pulling people up. The first one I see on our list, let me add this right in, is a channel called Desert Adventures in Arizona. Desert Adventures in Arizona. I might need to do this layout for this one. Okay. Let me scroll down here. Let me take a look at Videos tab. Did they let us sort yet? No, just by popular. I wish they'd let us sort by... Oh, nope, just uploads. I wish we could take the shorts out of them, because shorts, the thumbnails, doesn't quite matter. Thank you, Desert Adventures in Arizona, for the $19.99 super chat. See, you're the perfect channel to lead with, because you threw money at me, and I am a prostitute when it comes to working on YouTube. I'm kidding. That's not the truth. It's a little true. All right, so listen, let's start with your channel. Let's take a look. Megan, would you do me a favor? And I'm going to go to the homepage so I can see these better. Would you please put 60 seconds on the clock and let me know when to begin?
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, first thing I'm noticing is right here, the images are really pulled back. This looks like it may be a screen capture from somewhere within the video. Try to make custom thumbnails. And these might be custom because you definitely have put some text over it, but if you can actually, while you're filming, intentionally take a photograph of what's happening in that moment and then try to incorporate that into a custom thumbnail, it's going to be a lot easier to make out because this is so far back I can't see what's going on. And then you used red text over the green, and this red is really, really hard to read. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words in here, and there's so many words in there. A great picture is worth 1,000 words. So try to get a great image, and if you're going to use text, limit your words and be very cautious about the size of the font and the color that you use so it's easy to read. We want to have a lot of clarity in the thumbnail so that it makes it's easy to follow along.
10 seconds.
It looks like we've got more than one doing this. So this is a live stream version. This is a video version. Same thing down here. Just watch the clutter. You're supposed to be able to look at a thumbnail. I'm done. 60 seconds. Hope that was helpful. Who do we got next over here, Megan? let me see if I can see this one. I'm seeing a $10 super chat from Living in Oklahoma, David Matney. Let me see. David Matney. Let me see if I can find you, pal. Let me pull you up. I appreciate the super chat. Let's see. There's a lot of, so the last one was, hold on a second, Desert Adventures in Arizona, and now it's Living in Omaha.
We're going state by state today.
We are going to go every state. Anybody out there in Washington? Let me know. We'll pull you up. Living in Omaha. David Matney. You got to make sure I spell that right. David Matney. All right. Let's see. Here is the channel. Let me pull this out of here so that we can actually see what's going on. Let me pull the channel up right on there. Megan, if you would, could you please give me 60 seconds on the clock?
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, the first thing I really like is some of the color you got going on here. Like, I love this one. What is the cost of living in Omaha? This is fantastic. That really strong visual of a hand putting out some money, and it says cost of living, and then when you chose to do updated 2022, that really pops. So text-wise, I like what's going on. Balance-wise, I like what's going on with the words across the top, the hand with the money off to one side, and then the update off to the other side where it's blocking the receipt a little, the thing that it should block because you've got the important elements. One thing I would talk to you about is, does updated 2022 really matter to me in the thumbnail? I would probably have gone with something less wordy, because this updated 2022 isn't going to stop me in my tracks. Though, what's the real point of this video is what's the cost of living in Omaha. So I would have stuck with that and maybe put the state of Omaha, like the outline of it over
10
here
seconds.
to the right. Most of these are great. I love what you got going on here with the colors and changing things around in Omaha and green. In stuff like this, if you put too many images, think about it. I got to finish this up. Give me 2 more seconds here, Megan. Think about one food image or one better image. This is great, but when it's places to eat, there's so many things going on there. Just try to simplify as much as possible. But I love these thumbnails. I think they really pop. And I can see that your audience seems to like them too. They're simple, they're easy to read. And people, take a look at what's going on here. Pretty good thumbnails. In general, color, balance. These are the kind of things we look for. Simplicity, home warranty, great images. Really, really strong stuff. If you're not getting the views that you want, David, one of the things I want to talk to all of you about is sometimes people think that thumbnails are all of it. That if your thumbnails are right, you're going to get the click. It's actually topic, title, thumbnail, and timing, the 4 T's. You got to have the right topic, you got to have the right thumbnail, you got to have a title that's killer, that's super compelling, that works with that thumbnail. And then beyond that, what you really need is to have the great timing. So obviously if you're making a video about Christmas in the middle of July, probably not great timing. So always try to think about those things. So don't think about your CTR being thumbnails alone, because that's usually not the case. Let me see right here. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I can't do this alone. I need people to help me out, which is why I have the great Megan Larson with me. But even Megan and I can't handle the entire load. This is why we have great people that come along, like the great Dean Evan. Hi, Dee. How you doing, pal?
Man, I'm coming in hot today. I just saw your, I just got into the studio, saw your link. I haven't fired up the system so fast ever. So how are you doing?
Were you clothed? He's naked from the waist down. He's like, listen, I'm just kind of running a little.
No, I just came to the studio and I saw it, just happened to open my phone as I was coming up in the elevator, and I was like, oh, they're running up the stairs. It's like, we're going live.
Yeah,
how are you doing?
Glad I'm doing great. I'm glad to have you here, pal, because you actually have a background in design, which is
Right.
something that's super helpful when you're creating thumbnails. Me, I'm kind of a hack. I kind of figure it out as I go, but you definitely.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, come on. No, but your brother, Roberto Blake, all you guys come from a design background, so which is really great when you can actually start putting things together. You have a great eye for it. So speaking of which, Dee, I'm going to make you handle the first one. You just got here. I'm going to throw a channel at you.
Yeah, and I just want to say this, though, before we even get into this, is on my channel, I do break some rules. So there's best practices, and I think it's important to first understand the best practices of what works for thumbnails. But then once you understand that, to experiment, because sometimes best practices don't always work in a specific situation. So I break those rules sometimes on my own channel, because at the end of the day, a thumbnail that performs better than a thumbnail with best practices, that's all that matters, right, is to win the click. So just want to put that out there first.
Well,
Learn the rules and break them.
One thing that we should always talk about here is, some people think a great thumbnail falls into very specific paradigm, like, oh, it has to have text, or it has to have a face, or it has to have bright colors, or it has to have. Really, what a great thumbnail is if it's effective, if it wins the click. Sometimes that can be simple, sometimes that can be more complex, sometimes it has
Right.
text, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it has faces, sometimes it doesn't. It's
Right.
about representing the messaging of that video clearly in the packaging, so someone sees it, stops them in their track, and they go, I got to watch this. I got to see what this thing's about.
100%, man. At the end of the day, it's all about getting someone to click. And it's the overall packaging that does that.
I love packaging. Okay, so quickly over here, I think I got the right one. Make sure if there might be more than one fishing philosophy channel, but I think this is it. Let me see if I can increase the size of this D to make it a little more visible. That should probably help a little bit, right? That help? Yeah, why not? So
Are we only looking at thumbnails today?
We're just looking at thumbnails. So
okay.
If Megan, if you would put 60 seconds on the clock for D, and we're doing hard stops today. 60 seconds, we move forward.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, this is a fishing channel. I love that you're putting those fish right up in the face there. That's exactly what I want to see. Here's something that I would test out from a graphical standpoint. I would try turning the background black and white or lowering the saturation of the background, and that's going to highlight the fish even more and make them pop off because your background is also very colorful. I love that you're using bold and simple, easy to read fonts. You're not cluttering it up full of text. I love that. I think these look good. I would try to find a single font and run with that, so you kind of have some similarity with your fonts. So you have a certain look with how you crop your fish and a certain font look instead of changing the fonts all the time, because it's going to help your community over time and to identify your thumbnails as soon as they go live. Other than that, I think they look pretty
10
good.
10 seconds.
Yeah, you got more time. I'm going to jump in here for a second.
Okay, I'm going as fast as I can here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're doing great. One thing I would agree with on D is make sure that you're watching the kind of font you use. Sans serif, meaning not all this extra stuff like in minnows, the extra lines on the M's, are usually try to do ones without that extra line to read on the eyes.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like you're pretty new to YouTube, and I think these are, fantastic start.
Yeah. I think it's here from 2019. I just want to see what the oldest video was if I sort by oldest.
Oh, I thought this was
a couple of years. So still, look at how much better his thumbnails are now.
See,
the one with the new lures.
Right?
So these older ones with the fish, not bad, but look how much better they are when you look at the newest ones that he's got out. Really, this is one of those things I think that is underserved and not talked about enough. Is the improvement over time. Like we all get better. We learn these skills, and I think sometimes people think like, oh, you come to the plate with everything you're ever going to bring. It's like, no. We get better at being on camera. We get better at making thumbnails. We get better at, reaching our target audience, and all these things improve over time. So if you feel like thumbnails are something that are a struggle for you, just stay with it. And sometimes it's hard to see your own improvement when you're like looking inside, but trust me that other people like us, you can see when we pull up a channel, I'm sure you guys in the chat can see that, how much better the thumbnails are now on that channel than they were before. Just really upping your game and learning the skills.
Yeah, and across the board, like they were keeping their text really simple, and this applies to everyone. Sometimes you might do everything graphically correct, but you're using the wrong trigger words in your thumbnail. So sometimes you're like, oh, the thumbnail's not performing. Sometimes it might not be the imagery, it could be the words that you're putting on the thumbnail. Or try removing the words altogether. You never know what your audience is going to respond to until you test that out.
Absolutely. Okay, let's see. Let me pull up another channel here. Looks like we've got super chat from Big Promotions. I appreciate the super chat, my friend. That means a lot. So we're going to pull you up and take a look at what you have going on over here. Thumbnails only, thumbnails only, thumbnails only. That's me reminding myself, dude. Let me just take a sip of water here. Megan, we got to talk to the water company.
That's an interesting colored water.
My water looks awfully lot like beer this morning.
Whoa. What is that?
What? That's just,
You're not in Mississippi, are you? Where is it? Michigan or Mississippi where you guys are out of water over there? Where are you at?
They told me not to drink right from the tap, but, I live dangerously. All right, here we go. This is Big Promotions. Thank you for the super chat. Let's take a look at your thumbnails. Megan, if you could you put 60 seconds on the clock for me?
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, the first thing I'm seeing is this is super cluttered. You've got tons of things going on, and I get it. Sometimes people feel like they have to represent every thought in their head and every word inside of their video in the thumbnail. But if you look here, it's like my eye is getting drawn all over the place. Imagine if this was served in, like in browse. Would anybody, in the chat, shout out, thumbs up, thumbs down. Would you know in a second what some of these videos are about? It's just, there's text, there's imagery, you've got your Big Promotions branding underneath, there's, and each one of these, it's like this one, it's like there's a phone, there's a big gulp, there's a person with a burger, and the big promo cast. It's so much going on that it's cluttered. Try to simplify. Think about what the true messaging is of that particular video or live stream, and try to condense that in a way that at a glance,
10 seconds.
Someone understands exactly what they can expect inside of that video by looking at things like the title and the thumbnail. So I think that you've got some interesting things going on. It's just...
Can I throw something in there really quick?
Yeah, I guess so.
Lose that whole big promotion thing down at the bottom. That's completely not relevant. If you want to keep some branding, just keep your little face down there. That's all you need.
Your little face. Hey,
That little
keep your
face.
little face.
Keep that little face in the thumbnail. Just grab those little cheeks and just keep them right there.
What's happening right
I
now?
don't know. It's Sunday. Hey, it's a
Told you
holiday.
I told you I came in hot. I told you, man.
Yeah. See, I've got beer in my glass, and D has whiskey. That's the difference between the two of us. Oh, vodka.
Oh.
Cool.
Water.
Let me see. I'm trying to find some of these ones. I'm going to pull up, see if I can find Adelino Gambrieres. Gambrier. I think that's. This is why I'm not allowed to speak anything but English and a speck of German, because.
Biarras. You gotta roll the tongue.
Roll that tongue. Got it. I'll get this yet. Give me a minute. It's not my first time typing, but it just seems like it. All right. D, this one's going to fall to you, my friend. I am going to pull this up. Let me increase the size of it so you can see it a little bit better. Let me get rid of that, and let me lose the overlay of the comment. And Megan, if you could you please put
there it is. Okay.
60 seconds on the clock?
3, 2,
What's this
1,
channel about, real quick?
Go. Oh, wait.
It's up for you to figure that out. Go.
Okay, yeah, hack ideas. See, that tells you right there. I'm actually struggling to understand. I see hack ideas, but just the overall packaging, I'm not 100% sure what's going on with all of this. So the first thing I would tell you is to go find channels that are just absolutely dominating in your niche. Study their thumbnails, look at how they put the imagery together, and then do that. Because I like the simplicity in some of these, but I'm not picking up what you're doing exactly on some of these thumbnails. Make it short. How to make a sofa smaller. I might even do like a before and after on something like that. Life hack, reconcile. I love that you're using the bright, vibrant colors. That's great. But man, I'm getting lost on the imagery. Like, you're close, but it's not speaking to a general audience. I think you would grow a lot because you're getting views. I think you would grow a lot faster if your thumbnails could speak to a broader audience to where you don't have to stop and figure out what's going on. That's my input on this.
Yeah, agree. Well done, D.
It just lacks some clarity for me. And I think that's going to be the difference between your 2,000 and 3,000 views moving up to 10,000, 15, 20,000 views.
Yeah, one thing I would probably say, like, I like to assume that all views are organic, but that's not always the case. But if these are all organic views, one thing you want to think about is everybody in the chat, think about how your title and thumbnail work together to immediately grab the viewer, connect with them, and have them understand what's going on. In this last case here, I'm just using this as an example. I don't know what that is. I don't know what this is pushing at with all these arrows. I got multiple arrows going, look at this thing. And I go, well, the title will help me out. Another life hack. This is one of those things that you want to be careful to at least make sure you're reaching your target audience effectively as possible. Because for me, this might be something I would be interested in. I like life hacks, but I don't know what this is, and it's so ambiguous that if at least gave me an idea of the application of what it was. Is it a machine shop hack? I don't know what it is. Right. You know, then it would give me a clue, and then if that was something that it goes on in my life or a conversation I'm interested in, I would want to click.
Yeah, watch your spelling too. Like, make it short. You have make is spelled incorrectly up there.
Meek it short.
How maybe
it's
make it short.
What
yeah, just think about. I mean, you've got a hack channel. Think about a broad audience here. Again, study the greats on this, because that's going to make the difference between where you are now and where you want to go.
Yeah,
it's just getting the right, clear imagery.
Okay, let me see. Where am I at?
You're close though. You're really close.
You're it's
half of the sides of the Rubik's Cube are finished already.
Yeah, and in general, people, like, this is one of the things we talk about overall. When you'll hear D and I talk about this a lot. Font choice. You've got different fonts and colors here that are all mixing together that are very hard to read because they have all that extra swirl and curl. And imagine this being on a mobile device, all shrunk down really small, because the smaller this gets, imagine how hard it is to understand what that thumbnail is right here. Like, I see an arrow and I don't even know what that is, and and then scrap metal would be hard to read. So using fonts that are, in general, everybody, using fonts that are easier to read, making sure that the colors that you're using make sense. Don't just randomly go, oh, I'll do, red and then silver and then on red again and maybe some green. There are color schemes. Like imagine someone coming to paint your house, right? And they go, okay, every other clapboard, I'm going to paint a different color. Well, this side of the house is blue, this one's yellow. The same holds true to design. Try to think about something that's visually appealing. A lot of times I'll stare at like advertisements from big brands like McDonald's and like Burger King and Walmart and see how they're creating sort of design elements and color relationships so that catch people's eye, right? Simplify ways to jump out. A lot of times you can learn a lot just by looking at some of the best advertisers in the business and see how they're doing compelling imagery.
Man, I'm so glad you said that. I used to spend, and I still do, spend a lot of time, but not as much as I used to, studying exactly that. These companies pour millions of dollars into their advertising. And if you see something that's running day after day, week after week, month after month in print or on a billboard or wherever it is that you see them running this thing and it's just always there, probably because it works. Study how they do those things.
Yeah, totally agree, my man.
Yep.
All right, let me do this. We're pulling up, we had a super chat here from Leslie the Bird Nerd, $5 Canadian, which is, I think it's like $4.89 American. I can't remember if their money is worth more than ours now. Give it a minute, it'll change.
Yeah.
All right, D,
Yeah.
This is at you, my friend. Megan, could you give us a countdown, please?
3.
Wait, I just did the last one. You want me to do this one too?
Oh, well, Leslie's in my battalion group, so I feel like I am unqualified to comment on her thumbnails. I want an outside opinion.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
These are trash. No, I'm just kidding. All right. All right. I just want to tell you the first thing here that really caught my eye is spot the difference. Like that to me just seems really interesting. Just out of the gate there. But you see, super easy to read. Not a lot of text. Like you're going to read that no matter what device you're looking at it. No matter how many drinks you've had, you're going to understand what that says. Now moving over here, I want you to be careful with your font choices. That's getting questionable, right? But then go over to the right a little bit more. I can change my brain size. Now look at how much contrast that has compared to the one over on the left, right? One of them just pops and screams with the text. The other one doesn't. So that's something to keep in mind. Font choice, font choice, font choice. I think your thumbs look good in terms of color. They're very vibrant. I don't know what that means necessarily without the title. I'm just looking at the images only. Be careful with the fonts here. Yeah, I think for you, text. Text and font.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah,
that's why I didn't want to comment. This is actually one that she brought into group. The one that grabbed your attention really quickly. Spot the difference, and the fellow battalion members were giving some pointers on how to do There was a video about how to spot the difference and tell the difference between different Blue Jays, and they helped her come up with this. I had nothing to do. That was all the group giving her some input, and I agree. I thought that was a really smart way to do that. The old spot the difference game, right? Very classic.
Yeah, it pays off. And, that one caught my eye first, and the one on the far right. It's that contrast between the green and the red with the white simple text on it.
Yeah, the red bar behind it. It's little things like that to help your text pop. Like green and red are very obvious, contrasting but complementary colors like Christmas. So that instead of just putting white text, to put those red bars behind it, and then putting, if you notice here, there's a little bit of a cast shadow on the white text to help it pop off the red. Those layers, this is one of the things that we talk about a lot. People tend to make thumbnails and they think flat. I, a lot of times, like to talk to people and say, let's think about your thumbnail, not just as if you're looking at it straight on. Flip it 90 degrees and look at it from the side. And think about the layers. What's out front, and then what's behind that, and what's behind that. And if you don't put any separation, everything's going to feel paper thin, and it's going to not work as well. If you can spread the layers, pull some of the color out of the back layers, make the front layers have a little more of a glow sometimes, or pop the colors on them. Be able to do things like cast the front layers, throw a little cast shadow on that like Leslie did on her text. What it does is it allows those things to breathe a bit. They become more three-dimensional, and they don't feel like someone just started sticking stickers all over a picture, and it feels super, super flat. You want depth. Depth is important on a thumbnail.
Yeah, I do a lot on mine. And here's the thing. When you learn how to put like little drop shadows and little glows here and there, they're not even noticeable. Like, they're not noticeable to someone just scrolling. They don't realize, oh, this is what they did. But just the tiniest little shadow here, the tiniest little glow here can make something pop off of the thumbnail without you even being aware of it.
100%.
It just sticks out to them.
Even today, when I was working out, I don't spend a ton of time on the thumbnails for live streams. It's not an excuse. I always try to make a different thumbnail for the live stream, so I'm always coming at this 60-second strategy. And the one I did today, if you can tell here, it's a lot of text. I usually don't put this much text, but I wanted to do something. People know the 60-second strategy, and I wanted to make it clear that we were doing thumbnails today. So I put that red stripe right across the thing. I really muted the colors on 60-second strategy and slightly did variations of blue, and then did the background blue, and then had that big red stripe, and I did more of a strong white with a black outline and a slight cast shadow, and all of that stuff. Even the red stripe, if you look below it, has a little shadow there. It's all of these things that create that little bit of layer. If you look at my hands and my body, I have a slight white glow just to make it pop. Just simple things to make things jump. And I don't love a ton of text. In this case, I went with it. But just the ability, if you're going to put things on screen, like if I wanted words to be more important, I put them forward with stronger colors, and words that are less important, I'll mute those colors back. I don't always leave things at full opacity, too. I'll pull the opacity on something back that I don't want to jump way forward. If it's a middle or a back tone, I'll pull the opacity of it so it's a little bit more translucent and kind of fades in, and it's not jumping way out. So just playing around with your layers. Think three-dimensional. Think as deep as it is, when you're looking at the front, turn it sideways, and think about getting some depth so there's layers to it, not just everything flattened together.
Yeah, and the flip side of that is sometimes you don't have to put any text at all. Sometimes a single image will just say everything you need to say.
100%. Totally agree. Okay, I'm trying to catch up here. Megan, let me see. What am I taking next? Okay. Oh, man.
You've got Bill the Harley guy.
With a $20 super chat. Thank you, pal. You rock, Daniel. You both rock. Yeah, D is the best. I'm so glad I have him here because, someone has to not be drunk.
It is an honor to be on your live stream, dude. I have so much fun streaming with you. I love it.
Yeah, I love having you here, man. Let me see. Is Bill the Harley guy? Has he got weird spacing in his name?
Bill and the is together, and Harley guy is together.
Bill, what are you doing here, pal? Hold on, let me try to find the channel here. Channels. Bill the...
Man, you got a lot of channel members in here today. That's
we do.
Fantastic. Battalions.
Battalion.
Hear you roar, battalions.
Well, they know how we do. Like we don't play around. Like we're in here every day in the battalion members only group. If anyone doesn't know, we have a members only group. If you join the join button underneath the live stream right now, it also not only does it come with members only content and members only live streams we do, but I have a Facebook group in there, and if you join, I'm in there pretty much every day of the week, and we're talking about growth strategy and things about how to improve your connection with your audience, and talking about thumbnails and titling. I love the group. Dee's in there with us all the time too. It's a great place to be.
And I said this last time. I'm in a lot of groups. I've had my own group. I'm in everybody's group, and not to throw shade on anyone else, but Daniel's got the best group going. So if you're on the fence and you're trying to think like maybe I'm going to do it, just do it. Just do it. Get over to the Facebook group and thank me later. It's totally worth it.
Remind me to pay you.
For my PayPal. I'm going to send my PayPal in the private chat there.
I'm having trouble finding
straight up, man. That's just straight up. Yeah.
I'm having trouble finding this channel, Megan. Could you put the? Could you find it
that really quick here.
And link it in there? Sometimes channels are more searchable. Don't ever freak out if your channel isn't searchable. Not many people are searching for your channel name if you're a smaller channel. It's not like randomly people are going, I wonder if Bill the Space Harley guy has a channel. So it's one of those things that comes in time. So don't freak out. But we'll find you here, Bill. And we do appreciate the $20 super chat.
Feel free to pull up another one while I scroll up and find him.
Okay, that sounds good. Let me do that. Right. You put him in there. We'll get you next. I see we've got a $9.99 super chat from Kevin Morales. Kevin, let me see if I can find you, pal. Kevin Morales. Let's see.
I wonder what kind of channel. I see a car in his avatar.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Car channel.
I'm looking. Cars. Let me see. Kevin Morales. He's not the only Kevin Morales out there. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Did I make you do the last one? I forgot where we're at.
Yeah, I did 2 in a row.
Well, all right. You want to do 3?
Hey, man, throw it at me. Yeah.
All right, let me take a peek at this one. Megan, could you give me 60 seconds on the clock, please?
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, the same thing we're talking about here, Kevin. Like right here, like I see the car image is great, but there's you're using a lot of negative space. And not that negative space isn't bad, but when you give up real estate for a lot of skyline and green, unless it really brings something that's important to the video, I'd say crop in tighter on the vehicle. You're also using an odd font that has a glow that's not terrible, but we are back. What is We Are Back? I mean, if I don't know, you got to remember we're always building for people. The way a channel grows fastest is when your content is presented to people who have no idea who you are. So always think about trying to build for your target audience. So We Are Back doesn't really bring a lot of value to me. I watch the timestamp too. If you're going to put text down in the lower right, words will get cut off by the timestamp. So always try to avoid that little right lower corner to allow the timestamp to exist. It's different sizes on different devices. Some of this other stuff I don't mind so much, but there's a lot of text review. There's a lot of little pieces going on. Simplify. Show us the car part, less text, more imagery.
Yeah, the air ride on your car, race car, like that sort of simplicity is what you're going for there, matched with, I would work for some better imagery on that. But the actual text on that, air ride on your race car, that really stands out to me.
Yeah,
and in terms of like...
Oh, go ahead, Dan, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, in terms of like, we're back or whatever, if you've ever taken a break from your channel, don't feel like I just did this. I just took an enormous break on my channel. And, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I needed to. And I just uploaded again. And I was so tempted the whole time to do like I'm back, this is why I've been gone sort of thing. And I resisted. I was like, you know what? I just need to like make that video and just keep posting. Like because there's just such a small group of people that would even be interested in that, and I can handle that like on a short or in a story or on a blog post or a tweet or something like that. So,
yeah, I always say never make you don't have to explain to people anything. Right. Yeah, you can do that somewhere else, and people just want content. Right. If you're making content, if you're gonna make content, make it, put it out there, let people enjoy it.
Right.
And the same thing here too. Everybody, imagery is really important. So if things like, in this case it's cars, make sure you're getting really great images. Don't just try to grab something from your video. Really stop. Like your mobile device nowadays, the cameras and the phones are so great. Take 50 shots if you're doing in the middle of filming something. Stop with your camera, your phone even, and just take a lot of great images so you can go, think thumbnail. Think thumbnail while you're building your content, especially if it's something like you're at an event, so that you'll have a lot of great imagery for when you do get home and you're editing and you're putting together the packaging for your video.
Yeah, if these are organic views, you're getting a lot of views already, and that's great. But if you can get your thumbnail game together, your channel is going to explode. I think if these are organic views, your thumbnails are what's holding you back right now.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I've got Bill in the private chat for you.
Let me see. Thank you very much. Megan, copy link. Let me put it up here. Paste and go. And there is Bill, the Harley guy. Now, I like anybody who's got Harley in the name.
Yeah,
Bill,
so
I'm
you're
going to
a
give you one
Harley
little...
dude.
I know we're doing only thumbnails today, but let me give you a quick piece of advice. Put the spacing in here. Don't intentionally stick things together and go like, that's how I used to use it on a tag when I was on, whatever, Twitch. Bill, the Harley guy. Space it out, okay? Because you squashing those words together, YouTube and the reader makes it harder for the reader to figure out what it is. And YouTube looks at that and keep it, and the same thing with your up in here, right? Like this looks like Bilf Harley guy. So, and your channel art. So like, if I sent you a text message and decided to use no punctuation and no spaces between the words, you'd start hating me and you'd go, Daniel, please, it's English, put spaces and punctuation in. Do the same when you're building channels. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about when it comes to things that aren't thumbnails. But I will go to thumbnails now. Let me scroll down. Let me get my Periscope. And Megan, could you give me 60 seconds on the clock?
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, this is another situation where it looks like you're allowing YouTube to pick all of your thumbnails for you. It looks like they're probably screen captures directly from the video. Now, either you're grabbing them or you're allowing YouTube to do them and put them up there. This is what happens is you get these weird images of faces looking in the wrong direction or, motion blur. And, sometimes they work out. Sometimes it captures a cool image. This is why custom thumbnails are so important, Bill. Really consider making sure that you're putting together thumbnails that are intentional, especially when it comes to Harley. Do yourself a favor and go look at some of the Harley Davidson advertisement and see how they're representing the bikes or when they do any of their advertisement. Like think about how to really draw attention to whatever it is you're talking about in that given moment. If this is the Softail standard saddlebag install, like I look at this and I'm not seeing saddlebags. I'm just seeing the seat. So I would rather have you featuring the saddlebag and showing the thing going on there. That would make sense. It would allow me to understand in an instant. Thank you, Bill, for the super chat. I appreciate that too, my friend. Let me find another channel here, D. Back to you, D. Unless you want me to do 6 in a row. We can just keep those back, like just do it in bulk. Okay, hold on one second. We've got, looks like a Homekeeping channel who is a new member with a 1.79 euros, pounds. Thanks for answering my cue on YG Shorts today. Always a pleasure, my friend. Shorts are one of those things that are
shorts are an
blow
evolving thing. Man, we need to do a stream together just on shorts because this thing is evolving at a rapid rate.
Yeah. Yeah, there was
very rapidly.
We will cover this. I was on Roberto Blake's channel just like 3 weeks ago. Just in the last 3 weeks, they've got all new features that are going on now. Now you can clip other people's content and stitch onto it, and that you pointed out on Twitter that it now when you do that, it lists those shorts made from the video underneath the video. It's crazy.
Imagine that. You know, when I first saw that, imagine your short showing up in the description short shelf of a viral video with 50 million views. How do you think that's going to play out?
Crazy.
Right?
All kinds of opportunity right now.
Right.
All right, Megan, could you please put 60 seconds on the clock for our good friend, Mr. Dean Inman?
3, 2, 1, go.
I can't see anything.
That makes it a problem.
Oh, sorry. Hold it. Let me start again.
Hold on. I'm going to do the Johnny Carson.
Right, sorry.
Okay, there it is.
Okay. Now, how about now? Is this any better?
7 steps to sort and wash cloths.
Okay. You got that clock going?
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, 7 steps. Okay, just right out of the gate here, I like the simplicity of the text. I think you're doing the right thing. But look at the contrast between this one and 2 or 3 over where it's blue and red. You see the contrast in the text there? I would kind of do away with that tan. It just doesn't pop out enough. Keep in mind here, you are competing for attention when people are scrolling. So using vibrant colors like you did with the red and the blue, I think that's a win. I would get away from neutral colors like you did with the beige there. The simplicity of the fonts, I absolutely love it. Getting rid of bathroom mold. I might play with the wording a little bit. Cleaning the kitchen extractor fan. I might, instead of, I don't know if you're writing that as your title or not, but you don't have to necessarily write your title out in your thumbnail. But I might do something like fastest way to clean
10
fan.
seconds.
Find a way to shorten that as much as possible. Josephine kitchenware, that doesn't say much to me. I like the first 3. I'm sorry, the second and number 3. Yeah, that.
Yeah. One of the things that we like
I struggle with the 60 seconds, man. My brain is like, whoa.
And then the buzz comes and it
I don't know what it's, because Daniel's controlling the little eye thing. So I'm looking at the little eye thing as he's controlling it. I'm like, what are you looking at?
I'm just trying to move around and give you some views here. I'm trying to take your cues. We're working it out, D. I'm a big fan of there. Don't always feel like you have to put text and thumbnails, everyone. I think sometimes people get into this mentality like, well, how will they know what it's about if I don't put text in the thumbnail? Well, I'll tell you what. You wouldn't have to tell me that you were cleaning an extractor fan if this was just a great image that was actually bigger. You've got the cleaning gloves on. You've got clearly cleaning it. It's clearly the fan above your stove. Sometimes that's enough. Don't feel like you have to go, but I have to put this, I have to get the title up in the thumbnail. There's a place for text that explains the entire video. That's called the title. And there's a place that you use imagery to try to capture the viewer's attention that works with the title, and that's called the thumbnail. So picture's worth 1,000 words. Doesn't mean you have to add another 1,000. So consider that. If your content is really connecting and you're driving a lot of views, then I say stick with what's working if it's connecting, because that means those thumbnails are effective. But if you're struggling to get the views you want, it's always those 4 T's we talked about: topic, title, thumbnail, and timing. And thumbnail's a big one. It really is a big one. So make sure that's probably the first, figure out a great topic and then try to get a great thumbnail that will compel the click.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with these other than just that brown one. I think you're on the right track. I'm thinking you're new based on the views that you're getting, fairly new possibly. So, keep reevaluating your thumbnails as you grow to see if you're... Oh, we've looked at your channel before, I believe.
Yep, we have.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, getting better every day. I'm a big fan of, think about, this is one of the things we talk about. Think about everybody. When your thumbnail, think about the fact that we're now, pulling up desktop, and I've got this thing blown up to 175 times its normal ratio, and I'm putting a magnifying glass on it. If you're talking about removing black and brown mold in a bathroom, boy, you know, that image with the molds kind of, I would rather have that zoomed in. Show me the mold. People will get it because people who have mold in their bathroom will connect. You don't need to, well, I got to make it small, I got to zoom back, and I have to get my words in. If you just show them and let the title say what's going on, that's enough, man. People will connect because anyone who's ever had mold in their grout lines, which is everybody, they always stain up and cause problems. Just show them the image and connect with them that way. Images are worth so much. You can do other things too, like your 7 steps to sort and wash clothes. No text on that other than like a split image. One is just like a pile of clothes with like an arrow or before and after, and then like another image is just a perfectly folded up, you know, layers of clothes. So it's like take this mess and turn it into this. So play around with the imagery, but you're going in the right direction. Absolutely. Yeah, you know, we're being pretty picky here too, so we're always going to try to give you something to think about and something to test out with every channel that we pull up, and then hopefully give advice that is applicable to everybody who's watching here live and in the replay. So yeah, always just think about that. Think about how you can really simplify. You know, I'm going to take a quick second here. I have to thank the sponsors who allow us to do this every day, so let me do that.
This live stream is sponsored in part by StreamYard, live streaming made simple, and by Spreadshop, the #1 resource for all of your print-on-demand needs.
There you go.
Yes, listen, I have my handicaps. Try using StreamYard. I've got a link down below. You can actually sign up and get 30 days free pro-level license, open up all the features, and see if you like it. And Spreadshop is the best place to make all your own kinds of merch that either you want to use while you're on screen, or if you want to try to sell it right underneath your short shelf, your merch shelf underneath your videos. Really great place to start improving and spreading your brand. Spreadshop, you can do that for free as well. Thank you both for helping us sponsor these videos and make this content that we can put out and help the people out there in the creator economy. So listen, let me take
pulling up the next one. While you're doing that, I want to throw a wrench here in the things that we're talking about. All right, so we're talking about making these changes with your thumbnails, but here's something that I don't want you to beat yourself up over. If you come across a winning design and you're like, wow, this thing is winning, and all of a sudden it's not winning anymore, sometimes it's just topical. Sometimes the topic that you're choosing or your title, sometimes the overall packaging just doesn't work. I have to change my thumbnails all the time because what worked for one particular video with a 20% click-through rate on 2 million views does not work at all for another video. Yeah. So, you know, don't beat yourself up over that. It happens to every single one of us.
Yeah, I think, sometimes, this is such a great point you just made there, D. I think sometimes people think that all views are created equal, right? If I just make the right thumbnail and the right title, I'll get as many views as any other video I've ever made. It's all about title and thumbnail. It's topic, it's timing, it's all of those things. There's not always an equal audience for some part of the conversation. Sometimes people really want to talk about or hear about one thing, and another part of the conversation they just might have less interest in, and that's okay. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't make those videos, especially if you're a utility channel and there's things that you want to cover that is important to the conversation, but just know, like, well, when I talk about this, it doesn't drive as many views as when I talk about this part of the thing. And that's what we call, building out your content strategy, where you go, hey, if you really want to grow more rapidly, then maybe for every one of these ones that you need to make but doesn't drive as many views, maybe make 2 of the other kind that can really push the channel forward.
Yeah, also, your thumbnail can change in terms of effectiveness based on the traffic sources.
Yes.
So your browse traffic might have a completely different click-through rate than search traffic and vice versa, or suggested. And you can check out all of this inside your analytics to see how the different traffic sources perform with your thumbnails. So there's not like a magical formula here.
And that's a really good point. Like, a lot of times people go, like, I put my face in all my thumbnails because that's what they've always done, or they heard from someone that faces do, good things. I'll put faces in some of my thumbnails. I've been doing it more frequently now because my channel's bigger, because people know my face. But earlier on, my highest performing videos don't have my face in it. They may have a face that may have been true to help sell what was going on in the actual content itself. But it's one of those things, like, don't feel like, like you could change your thumbnail. You might go, hey, my video does really well when people who know me in my community in the first few days, but then when it starts getting pushed out to people who don't know you, maybe you change that thumbnail to something else that doesn't have your face, that would connect better with people who don't know who you are. So don't be afraid. Don't feel like once you make a choice, that's it, you're stuck with it. You can always be re-optimizing and testing things out, especially with videos that have been out for a while. a really great thing to do is take a video that's been performing for several months, that seems to have a steady flow of views that are consistent every week, and don't be afraid to A/B test a thumbnail. And you don't need any special tools. You can use things like TubeBuddy that allow you to A/B test, and they do all the work for you. They change the thumbnail every other day for as long as you want, and they gather all the data. I have links to that down below too. But you can just simply do things like switch your thumbnail for 1 week and then look at that week and the previous week and just kind of compare what was going on and try to get an idea of, which thumbnail seemed to do a little better when it was sitting in front of people for about the same amount of time.
I sat through a talk at VidCon a couple of years ago, and I think it was Rob Sandy from vidIQ, and they were presenting data where they studied just a ridiculous amount of thumbnails. And they found that in some cases, all they did was just, like when they had like a face in the thumbnail, all they did in some cases was they would reverse the face and put it on the other side and get a massive click-through rate change on it just by simply reversing the image.
Sometimes it's simple. I do warn people when you do test your thumbnail, don't make such a minor change that it becomes photo hunt, right? We call that photo hunt, where maybe a little game where they put two pictures that look identical, but then when you really stare at them, you go, oh, that fox doesn't have a tail, and then this one's blue, and and when you stare at it, you notice the difference. But at a glance, they look the same. Don't make changes in your thumbnail and go, I'm testing thumbnails, and the changes are so minute that the average viewer, it doesn't have any impact on them. They seem the same at a glance. Always try to do something that changes, like even D said, like flipping it 180 degrees. So you put the two side by side, the differences are very clear, and it's a very different thumbnail than what you had in the other one.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Who did the last one? I'm just losing track of everything today.
I did. You're up.
All right, I'm up. Megan, would you do me a favor and could you put 60 seconds on the clock?
3, 2, 1, go.
Same thing I always say here. Boy, the text, it's just when you just start throwing text all over images, it's really hard to understand what's going on. I'm not the biggest fan of borders. You only have so much real estate in any given video, so when you take up a part of it, putting on yellow and black corners, you're actually shrinking your image and you're making it harder for people to see the thing that's supposed to be here. In this case, now this isn't a short because it's 1 minute and 17, but you've now taken a vertical image and stuffed it inside of a 16:9, so you got these big black bars. I can't even see the birthday cake. So there's just a lot of things going on that make it hard for me to click. Same thing here. You're trying to show me the Arizona desert, but you got all this stuff on top of it, branding and text, that I'm losing the image. It's all just text, and it's hard to read text because there's a ton of words, and the color of the text itself doesn't really do a lot
10
for
seconds.
me. So what I would tell you is think about if you're going to go down a flight down Salt River, get a great shot of Salt River. Give me that. Give me that instead, and leave all this other stuff off. Keep it simple. Get it easy for the viewer to understand.
Yeah, I'll add on that. Like, go to Google and type in Salt River and look at the top images and try to get a shot like that, or use a shot like that. Right? I guess you can do that now. Yeah.
Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Salt River. Go to the Images tab. And look at some of these great, right? Now look at all these people hanging out in the river. Look at people canoeing and kayaking out over here. Look at that one. Look at this image right here. This Salt River. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let me open this up in another tab and take a look. If this was the thumbnail and maybe just down in the left it said, just in that water space right down here, just said, let me see if I can do this. Can I? If it just said, like right down here, just kind of said Salt River. Or maybe it was up in the clouds, like Salt River or somewhere. Just enough to go, where is this? And it just had a little, go like, oh my gosh, that looks beautiful.
I want to visit that place.
Where is this Salt River place? That could be really cool. So strong imagery. Take that. This would be a perfect example. If you were at Salt River, I would have my camera, my phone. I would be taking every great picture I could. So when I got home, I could have a great image that would represent that topic when I get the packaging.
You can also use free photographic services like Pexels.com. Is it Pexel or Pexels.com?
Pexels.com is one. Pexels.com.
Yeah, Pexels.com. There's a bunch of these. You can go in there and search. I don't know if they got Salt River or not, but you can go here. Just pay attention. Sometimes they do require you to actually give them credit down in your description. But this is a great resource for imagery. Just make sure.
Free. Totally free. Also, Pixabay, Pixabay.com is another one that has free images. Now, you never know what they're going to have, but these are all for for people who don't want to don't have the budget to be licensing imagery. They have a lot of great images that you can use. All these royalty free. You can put them in your thumbnails. So if you're looking for great images and you didn't capture something,
worth a
then
look.
I'll take some and go from there. There are paid ones. I like stock Adobe. I use stock Adobe for a lot of my images when I do my thumbnails.
So many of these websites.
There's
so
just
many.
great ones all over the place. You can just get, just find one that works for you, because I think there's just so many resources out there that if you can't find something that, if you weren't able to capture an image on your own, that's the best way. The best free image is the great image you captured yourself. But if you need something, there are resources out there for you to help you design some of these things.
Yep.
All right, let me see. Megan, who else do we have here? Looks like Boardwalk Films. And by the way, that was a, hold on, let me see where it's at. Just to be, that was Copper State, aerial photography. Did not super chat, so I am picking ones that just, I don't want people to go like, well, it's only if you super chat, we're pulling you. No, we're kind of mixing them up a bit. We are prioritizing the super chats because we appreciate that, but I'm trying to pick a bit of both. I see Boardwalk Films. Here, let me grab that one and see if I can pull it up. Boardwalk Films.
My headphones are bent or something. I don't know.
What happened? You fall on your head?
I don't know.
The
They
little
fell off my
woman,
desk
the little
and
woman
I think
kicking you
they're
around?
A little weird. Yeah.
Told you, don't piss her off. She'll kick your butt.
Yeah.
With headphones on or not.
With headphones on, she don't care.
Boardwalk Films. Are my thumbnails too simple, he asked. Or she, I don't know if it's a he or she. Thank you very much for the $1.99 super chat. Let me pull this up. Here's the channel. Dee, do you want to take a look at this one? Let me pull it up so you can actually see the thumbnails. Let me increase the size just a bit. Let me get that out of the way. Let me see. These are the most recent. So here's the most recent. Can you give us 60 seconds, Megan?
3, 2, 1, go.
I believe their question was, are their thumbnails too simple? Correct?
Yes.
I don't think so. I'm a sucker for a nice, simple thumbnail. I would even test these with no text at all. Use A/B testing. I don't know what kind of views you're getting. I can't see. Almost 1,000 views. Maybe wait a little bit. I think they look good. I think they're colorful. I think they're beautiful shots. One thing you have to be careful with, you see how you have the Californication of Texas? You see how you've got all of those all the letters smashed in together there? You got to be careful with some of this, because sometimes when you do this on a mobile device, it all just kind of blends in together. So make sure you double check these on a phone. Otherwise, I think they look good.
Yeah, and I'm going to add 2 seconds, two little things here. You've got this right over the center of the image. When you've got this nice open sky, put that maybe up near the top. Same thing here, the dark truth of Seattle, and you're covering the Space
10
Needle.
seconds.
Think about maybe putting that up in the sky above so you're not plastering it right over the image. If you're going to use text, make sure it doesn't block the things that could make an impact on the viewer. Timing is
Nice
great on that one.
timing.
I think they look great,
team
though.
timing. Yeah,
I
very
think
cool.
they look great.
I don't have any problem with simplicity. I think simplicity sells. I do have a problem with covering your images. Like try to make sure that you're thinking about layers, right? If and a picture is worth 1,000 words. So if you're going to use text, stick it someplace. In this case, because of the timestamp and the size of the text, like Dee said, stretch it out. You can actually change the spacing in between the words, either by physically adding a space or stretching it out a bit so they're a little more readable. So just be cautious of that. But I dig it too. I think that's pretty cool. Hold on.
I like the Silicon Valley one where you've got the black box behind it and the text is a little bit smaller. That just has like a nice classy look to it. Heck, look at the man. You nailed one there. Look at that. Knocked it out of the park. 3.6 thousand views.
Yeah, in 8 days.
Good job.
Right? So sometimes,
good
what's
job.
really cool about that? This is one thing to think about when you're, and I like that they're playing around with the text ideas. Is Texas the new California? And then the text in the thumbnail is the Californication of Texas. And then when you say why Silicon Valley is moving to Austin, and then in the thumbnail, the new Silicon Valley. So think about when you're building your packaging, everybody, if you can instill curiosity, if you can get people to ask a lot of questions like, wait, why are people moving? They're moving to Austin? I didn't even know I didn't know Silicon Valley, like a lot of these people are moving to Austin. Why are they calling that the new Silicon Valley? I need to click to figure out why they're doing it, why they chose Austin. There's all these questions start popping up. So the more curiosity that you can start triggering in the potential target audience, the better off the packaging is. So I love this. There's fear. There's really 3 big elements to leverage when you're building a thumbnail. One can be gain, if you're talking about gain, like, figuring out ways to grow your YouTube channel faster, or how to improve your thumbnails, or things like that. There's gain. Someone reads it and said, that's something that if I watch this, I will gain something coming away from it. Another thing you can do is fear. If you say, like, 5 common mistakes that new YouTubers make. There's this fear like, oh no, am I making those mistakes? I don't know what they are, but I might be making mistakes. I need to know so I can correct that. I don't want to be making those mistakes. But then in all of those, the thing that really can be overwhelmingly powerful, curiosity, right? 5 common mistakes new YouTubers make won't tell you what the mistakes are. You got to click and watch. So now you've got multiple questions. Am I making those mistakes? What are those mistakes? You know, how can I correct those mistakes? So thinking about leveraging fear gain and curiosity can be hugely impactful in titles and thumbnails and working those all together.
Nailed it.
All right, let me pull up this next one here.
Who's up next?
Okay. Let me see. Let me pull over here. This is Write Your Book with Naomi Nakashima. $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that, Naomi. Let's see. Hi, I give writing advice and tips for new authors. Would love a review. So let's take a look at these thumbnails. I'll pull these over. I won't make D just trying to guess what they are without seeing them, though I did try to do that last time. Let me start right here. This is 2 months ago. Let me see the most recent. Let me go over here. Let's go to the most recent. I'll put 6 on the screen. Tell me if I need to do anything else. Want me to just leave them there? D, is that enough for you?
Yeah, that's enough right there.
Okay, Megan, could you give our good friend Mr. Dean Emmons 60 seconds, please?
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, I like that you're putting yourself in the thumbnails. You look really friendly. Your pink hair is really cool. Something that I would probably do, because you do have pink hair in these, I would probably pump up the saturation just a little bit without making your skin look weird, because that's going to make your pink hair stand out a little bit more. Remember, the goal here is to get attention and get clicked on, right? One thing that kind of throws me off here, classical music to increase your focus, and you show a typewriter. I'm kind of confused on that one. You're also talking about, should you write a book? Is it worth it to write a book? And you have like relaxing music. So I'm getting a little bit of a mixed message here. Other things that I would do since you're putting your image in there, try to come up with some different faces, because it looks like even though you are using separate images, it looks like you're just doing it all from one setting. Like you just like sat down and took a bunch of screen grabs and you stuck them in there. And the truth about ghostwriters, I like that. The truth about ghostwriters, because that's speaking to your audience more than you think. Not really sure about that. What's in it for you? Yeah, in terms of clarity, I think you could add a little bit more clarity to your thumbnails. I love the truth about ghostwriters.
I'm going to throw one unrelated tip in here that is not thumbnails, but I want you to be very careful. When I see you're supposed to be teaching people, because you gave a great super chat and I appreciate that, tips about, you write advice and tips for new authors, and these are getting fewer views, but what's driving a lot of views? Classical music. To increase focus and concentration. Right. Relaxing music, meditation. You're putting the words writing music, whatever. This is all you're telling your target audience and YouTube that your channel is all about relaxation and music for moods. Music for mood setting. So even though these are driving a lot of views, they're actually going to hurt your channel because they're going to fragment it. People go, I don't care about this writing stuff. I was here just to play the music. I want the music to go on in the background. So be very careful about making sure that when you do, the greatest thumbnail in the world, you might go, well, this drove a lot of views. Isn't this great? Yeah, but it's about it's classical music to increase focus and concentration. Now you may have added the words.
Not all views are created equal. Not all views are created equal.
Right. You got for a book or short story. You added this sort of unrelated thing. People are like, I can't even read that part. It's truncated. It's just music to increase focus and concentration. Really careful, everybody out there. Developing a strong value proposition and making sure that your topics, your titles, your thumbnails, and all of that stay true to that value proposition and always serve the same target audience is going to allow your channel to connect with the right people, help YouTube understand who your videos should be served to tomorrow, and reduce audience fragmentation. I did a video of that on my own channel, showing where I actually had fragmented my own audience. D could probably tell you some stories too. Even the best of us.
I've done it too. We all do it. We all make that mistake. I want to add something else here. Don't feel like you have to put your picture in the thumbnails. I would go to, if you don't have some great shots, go to one of those sites that we just showed, Pexels, or one like it, and try to find something with somebody actually writing a book or typing a book. So it's like a really, really cool book image, right? Like use that imagery, test it out to see if that's going to perform better, because you're just, I don't know how long you've been around. I don't know how many videos you have. I can't tell here, but it looks like you're still trying to get your footing. So don't be afraid to experiment with the imagery. 2013. She have a lot of videos?
Yeah, there's quite a few in here.
Okay.
Oh, and the hair has changed over time
shorts.
too. Green,
Oh,
pink,
okay, interesting.
green. I like the color changes.
Ooh, be careful with the small text. Don't cram all that text in there like that.
Yeah, this is 7 months
at that little
ago. I
text.
do like that you're moving away from that. Everybody, we
Yeah.
always talk about that. Don't put all kinds of text just because you feel you need to.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shorts going on that seem to be doing pretty well. That's kind of interesting. I like to see shorts that are 2,300 views, 1,500 views, 29. Some of those shorts are working out well. One of the tips we talk to a lot of people about, I know we're not talking shorts today, but because shorts don't physically, you can add a custom thumbnail to a short by going in through desktop, and you can put a 16:9. But what they're now starting to do is they used to display in every other traffic source except the short shelf, but even that's changing. Now they're not necessarily showing your custom thumbnail when it's found in search or when it's found in browse or found in suggested or even found on your channel page. So I've been moving away from making custom thumbnails on my shorts because they're just not showing, they're not surfacing them. But one thing you can do, which is really great about shorts, is shorts can be really great to push back to longer form content. So if you're making shorts, don't just make shorts for that moment. YouTube has already added a feature in now that if you make a short from a longer form content, they have a little overlay that says, created by, and it just shows your channel name where you can click and it brings you back to the video that was made from. But don't be afraid to make a short and push back towards another piece of content that actually has a lot of value. If you have some short little 10-second, 15-second piece of information that could really help someone out about how to become a more successful author, and you give them one great tip. A lot of times in these shorts, you'll have 100% average view duration at the very last seconds of the short. So don't be afraid to say, like, hey, if you want to learn more about how to become a successful author, I'll put a link down below, and put the link down in the description. Really great way to push back and help some of that longer form content.
Yep.
Okay.
Who's next?
I see a 29 denomination that I don't know what that means from. It looks
About
like
12 cents. About 12 cents.
Evolish. I'm gonna have to try this again. I have to
don't see
read.
it.
I can't. Let me see. Let me try this. Let me search. Evolves. Oh, evolvish. Evolvish. Oh, let me tell you. Let me pull this up here. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Evolvish. Now,
Oh, he's got a bunch of arms. Look at that.
I wish I had that many arms. With the amount of multitasking I have to do, we got to hire this guy to work on our StreamYard show.
Yeah.
He can push all kinds of buttons for us.
Stop what you're doing. Come work for us.
Contact us through the email. We need to hire you with that many arms. You look like Grimace before the loss of arms that happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got 3 good ones.
Let's see.
It.
You did the last one. Let me pull up this one. Let me go here.
Oh, he's doing tricks.
Man, I like this already. Evolvish.
Yeah.
Evolvish stairs. Get out of the damn comfort zone and stay patient. I'm not exactly sure what that all means up here, but I'm going to go here. I'm going to start here with somewhat recent content. Let me go to the videos tab. Let me see what's going on here. Kind of cool. All right, Megan, give me countdown here.
3, 2, 1, go.
I like this. This is literally, you stole the Mr. Beast thumbnail technique. You even used his Comica font, which is really cool. So it's like empty plate. You look like you're really tired. Hour 14. That's something that Mr. Beast does.
He did.
Totally dreaming about, I wish I had food, empty plate, right? 3 days ago, living without food, what to expect and how to survive. One of the things I would tell you is make sure that your thumbnail and your title work together. This is very optimized for search. Living without food, what to expect and how to survive. Are people going to plan on living without food very often? Probably not. You should probably say, I tried to go, use Mr. Beast technique. If you're going to steal it, then make sure the title says, like, I tried to go a week without eating. Boom, keep it simple.
I didn't eat for a week.
I didn't eat for a week. Yeah, and then this will be hour 14, and then it'll be more compelling for
10
them to
seconds.
click. I like the imageries, how to solve a Rubik's Cube. This is very cool. Shorts obviously don't. I like what's going on. I think a lot of what you're doing, just make sure that your titles are as compelling as the... I'm just going to leave this here, because this is a killer thumbnail.
Literally.
This is so
He's talking
good.
about using cards for a weapon. It is literally a killer thumbnail.
Do this to throw cards as a weapon.
Yeah.
This to throw cards like a weapon.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that video.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna hurt some people.
This is, you know what I really dig about this? Smart use of text in a thumbnail. He put it onto the wall. Yeah. He put perspective on it. It doesn't look like an overlay. He even cut out the G with the apple. but I totally read it as card throwing. I'm like, there's not a second in my mind that I don't know exactly him with the face, the card flying, the apple up on some kind of a stand. The balance is great. I love all of this. I would say for you, my friend, 2 weeks ago, 1 month ago, are you a smaller channel? Let me see how you 106. So you're newer. Sometimes this is one of the things I talked about. Join July of 2022. Welcome to the platform, my friend. You're doing so many things right. I love what you got going on here. Really, really smart place. If you're not driving the views you want to drive yet, that's okay. I talked about this in my most recent video. Sometimes it takes time for YouTube to learn who your target audience is, because it's not because you're a newer channel. You don't have a big community around, or you spent years building yet. So YouTube is slowly pushing out your videos, seeing how they're gonna, the people respond, and gathering data. And if you keep making great thumbnails, great titles, and the video itself is really strong and effective, don't be surprised as you keep making more content. Suddenly you start seeing some of these ones that maybe were a month, 2 months, 3 months old pop. And all of a sudden you go, wow, it was only driving like 2 or 3 views a day. Now it's driving like 400 views a day. Happens all the time.
I would try some, like if these two, like throw the cards like a weapon, I think it's a great thumbnail, but here's some things that I would test as well as the one next to it. You know the famous video and the famous picture of the bullet shooting through the apple? Right? I would find that image and try to take that just so it's right up in the screen there. And instead of so you've got the apple blowing out, but I would, because you've obviously, how how to use Photoshop, and I would use your card to come in there. So it looks like the card is just blowing the apple to pieces. I would test some stuff like that. And like you doing the basketball, how about the basketball is just on the tip of a finger instead of just all of this extra stuff around it, right? And just kind of really focus the people in on that. I would test them. I don't know which one's going to perform better, but just at a glance here, those are things that I would try. And then like even your Rubik's Cube that's doing really well for a channel your size, I would even, I don't know how long it takes to do that. I think you're doing like the left, right thing. But I would even put however long it takes, 5 minute solve, or solve in 5 minutes or something like that. And I would test that in your thumbnail to see if that's, oh yeah, I can do this in 3 minutes, whatever it is. I would test those things.
Yeah, think about conservation of the real estate in there too. Like Dee said, this is really everything that talks about everything. Trying to spin a basketball. All of this other stuff, the pool, the net. Is that a pool? No, I thought there was a pool. It's just a blue on the court. Right. The court, the net way back there. I don't think I get it. For a minute, I thought it was a pool because of the blue. It's extraneous. I would much rather if you cropped in and had a great shot of you way up close with a great expression I'm trying, I can't quite do it. And have the basketball kind of teetering a little bit on that one finger. Well, one of those things, just think about most compelling images possible. Because you stole from Mr. Beast. Keep talking, D.
I was going to say, do a search for bullet shoots apple.
Let me do this one thing first. If you look at Mr. Beast, because I know you're copying some of his thing, really look at how intentional he is with colors, layers, expressions, simplicity, right? I survived a plane crash. That it's got him, lifeboat, looking tattered, got his Mr. Beast logo shirt on, and then the plane all real simple. There's not a lot of extraneous space. It's not like tons of ocean in background. It's big plane. Right? Really making sure that he's making the most use of the space available. So think about that, people, when you're building thumbnails. Really try to make sure that he's a great example of just being smart about the way he balances out the thumbnail and uses the space really effectively so that each one of these things really scream exactly what's going on and compel the viewer. Nice balance, good centering, using the rule of thirds. A lot of great stuff going on. What do you want to look up?
He's not wasting space. He's not wasting space at all.
Nope, and not using a lot of text, hardly ever. Bullet through apple.
Yeah, there's a certain image.
Oh, can I spell apple? There we go. That
one? That with a card.
Yeah.
Right, because they're shooting through it like that, but with a card.
Let me see, is that it? Yeah.
I think since you know your way around Photoshop, I think you could do something really cool with that.
Yeah. Really, really impactful. Yeah. Right. I get it. Yeah, really smart. That's a great suggestion. Yeah, I always think anything you can do to put it right in people's laps, right? I think the more intricate thumbnails get, the more things going on, the more pulled back they feel, the more people have to stop and go, wait, what's happening here? The simpler you can just stick it right in their face, I think the more effective a thumbnail can be.
Yep. Love it. Who's up next?
Okay, let me see. I'm pulling up. I'm doing everything I can to keep up with everybody I can. Really appreciate the super chats. And we're trying to get through as many as we can today. Let me put this in here. Paste. It looks like I've got Fish Daddy Joe's Florida Adventures. $5 super chat. Appreciate that, my friend. Thank you very much. Let's try to stick to 60 seconds and see how many of these we can get through.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
We're just like
all right,
on.
let me pull this up. D, I think this one is yours, my friend.
Let's do it, man.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, Fish Day Joe's Florida of Fish Daddy. Okay, right out of the gate, I think your text is hard to read, especially the small ones, like driving the 49 Chevy Gag Grouper. Okay, he's got this zoomed in, and I'm having trouble reading Gag Grouper Fishing 2021. This is one of the situations where, I mean, you've got the simplified font, but try to get something that's thicker and that's bold. And in this particular case, I think the border is actually doing a disservice to what you're doing for the small text. I would also love to see a situation where you see you're holding that fish should be everything. Just how we were showing the last channel, like putting that basketball up there, putting the bullet going through the card, or the card going through the bullet. Get that fish up there. Use something to brighten it up. I don't know if you're doing this on a phone or whatever, Photoshop, Canva, whatever you're doing, but brighten it up. Make it vibrant, because vibrancy is going to get attention. This first image here, I don't know what's going on. It's really dark. Screen grab. Take the time to take good, vibrant pictures. You got to learn how to do this.
That's so true. Great tip. Great tip for everybody. Make sure that you're pulling images just from your video can be such a disservice to what might be actually going on.
Yeah.
I've got one here. We have a super chat for a $5 super chat from Ace Rocker Tech saying, "Good morning!" exclamation mark. Well, good morning to you, sir. I hope I got my punctuation through in the way I verbalized it. Love what you're doing. Can you check my thumbnail? See what improvements I can do? Thank you. I got to tell you right off the bat, I love your profile pic. Looks really good, really powerful, pointing right at me. I dig it. I dig it. Okay, Ace. Oh, Rock. I thought I said Rocker. Ace Rocks Tech. Ace Rocks Tech. Okay, it took me a second to put that together in my head. But Ace Rocks Tech. All right, this one is for me, I guess. Let me see. Let me go to the newest ones. Okay, he's got them pretty much set there. Let me see. All right, give me 60 seconds here.
3, 2, 1, go.
I think this is a pretty strong image. Watch the balance a bit. This looks just out of my eye. It's looking like it's pushing a little to the right. When I just look at the space from the right to the left, I try to keep things balanced and maximizing them. Don't be afraid to do the thing that Dee said before. Your shirt color is actually pulling away from the front image a bit. So I would have gone around this whole thing and I would have masked it, and everything outside of your hand and the controller, I would have desaturated that and pulled it down. So everything forward had a lot of saturation and color. Stuff in the back, I would have pulled it away so it really pops. You did do blurring. I like that. I think that was smart. You got a bit of bokeh depth there, but I think trying to get the saturation a little better. Some of these are great. That's a pretty cool image with the glasses off. Hey Google. I think they're not bad. One of the things I think you really want to think about is make sure that the topic, title, thumbnail, timing, it's all works together. Google needs to lean into it. Pixel 7 leaks. I think I would have gone right with the leaks.
Seconds.
I don't know that this screams the leaks. If that's what it is, then you should be pushing the leaks. And if this is the Backbone 1 PlayStation controller, you just told me what it was and it's truncated. I don't get the compelling element. That's it. That's all I have for you right now, friend. 60 seconds. I talked as fast as I could.
It's hard, man.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Cool channel. Tech is such a tough place, as I'm pulling up the next one. Tech is a tough place to live because there's so much competition. You really need to, anybody who's in gaming or tech, just making product reviews and unboxings, it's so hard to gain traction. If you're just doing, if you're a gamer, you're just doing Let's Plays or all that, or game reviews, so hard to gain traction because it's like opening a new pizza shop in a town that has 146 pizza shops on one mile stretch, right? Really think about what you can bring to the game to be unique, stand out, be different, have an opinion, shake people up, focus on the things that they might be thinking in their head that they haven't necessarily spoken out loud. Just really trigger them. Think about the conversations.
While you're pulling up the next channel, is a funny thing. So I live in Thailand, and Thailand has, I think we have more 7-Elevens. I don't know, Japan might be number one, if not we're number one, in terms of the number of 7-Elevens in the country. It's not uncommon to be standing in one 7-Eleven and be able to visually see another 7-Eleven down the street. And there was one particular place in the old city that we lived in. There were 4 7-Elevens within eye views. You could stand in one, and you could sit there and you could look at 3 others across the street.
That's amazing.
You're talking about all the pizza places. It made me think about that. It works for 7-Eleven. It works for 7-Eleven. Pizza, I don't know, but
that's Dunkin' Donuts in our area. You literally
Dunkin' Donuts.
You can literally get to another Dunkin' Donuts before you even started drinking your first coffee. Like, there's another one.
Yeah, it works sometimes. Yeah.
Well, they say America runs on Dunkins, but I think it's because they're just tripping over them because they can't get out of their way. Okay, here's the next one. D, I'm going to throw this to you. This is from East Coast Slots with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much. Who said, thanks, gentlemen. Well, thank you. We appreciate it. And for that, we're going to take a look at your channel. Megan, could you please give us a 10-second countdown, or 3-second countdown here?
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, I'm going to have an aneurysm looking at these. Okay, here's the thing. Your thumbnails are so vibrant. I absolutely love the vibrancy of your thumbnails. However, the text that you're putting on top of the thumbnails is also incredibly vibrant, and it's just sitting on top of the slot machines, and it's getting completely lost. It's getting completely lost. So I would try, 1, not putting text, or 2, if you're going to put text, try putting a black block around some, shrink it down a little bit, put a black blocks around it, so you can clearly identify what's text and what's a slot machine. Because these slot machines have text on it too, and my eyes would just go crazy when I look at that. So think about separating that text from the actual colorful imagery. But they're super vibrant. So for that, I'm going to give you, you're winning in terms of vibrancy. No way high. And the text on there, I think it's good too. 1 time, 2 times the jackpot. I think the text is good, what you're saying, but I can't read.
Yeah, having trouble popping. I'm going to give you one other piece of advice here. Be super careful. YouTube has a lot of restrictions for channels who are doing any sort of online gambling or giving gambling tips and advice. I've had more than one channel come to me having their channel removed. Gambling is a tricky line, and be aware of that when you do this. If you're doing anything that's giving like online gambling, or because online gambling is, even though this seems to be more like seems to be in casinos, be super, super careful. All right, that's just one of those lines and never do any commercials. Don't do any spots or links to anything that's like where to online gambling. Fastest way to have your channel removed from the platform.
Yep.
Let's see. Let me find.
Those are super colorful, though. I would just look for separation between that text and the slot machine.
You know what the problem is? I pull up the next channel I had with that one was is that they were so colorful, and I get it. That's what people think about when they go into a casino. You think all those colorful machines. I can't tell one from the other, right? You'd have to be. I would rather have them be real distinctive so that I would know they all blended together because there was so much going on. I think if you were able to get a little more simplicity to it and go like a real great screen grab of this one great game and something that really worked, and maybe add a face in or do something to really make it go like reactionary to like, oh, I won so much or I just lost a lot or whatever the thing is, something to bring it to the next level so that I know. I mean, to me, I would have a hard time distinguishing if I'd seen that video based on the thumbnail or not. All the thumbnail does is says, well, it's gambling. That's cool. If I'm into gambling, I'd probably click it. But anything that can help you distinguish from the rest and separate them, probably important.
Sometimes simplifying it with the text works too. So if you've got a busy background, simplify the text. Sometimes just a really big, thick, white font is all you need.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Sometimes that is enough contrast between the busy background. So just experiment with that. Wow, look at, wow.
I'm here. I know.
Yours,
this is
man.
from
Wow.
Derek Weber, Scary Stories, with a $4.99 super chat. I'll play. Looking forward to you roasting thumbnail. I'm not going to, we don't roast. We just try to give you an impression from the outside in. If you're looking for roasting, unfortunately, you're not going to get it here today, my friend.
Not today, buddy.
I got to be honest with you. I think these are phenomenal.
These are
7 true creepy encounters, story time, right? True disturbing encounters. You've got that Jason image back in the background there. I love the way you're treating. This is exactly what I talked about when people don't just put font on there and leave it. Like the way you've added texture to it, the way some of it's kind of blurred, the way it's got some distress to it. So it fits the thumbnail perfectly. It's not like this big white and green and blue. Megan, tell me when I'm at a minute. This big white and blue and green kind of thing. You really make this text fit right in. The balance is great. The colors are great. I love it, man. If you were looking for me to roast you, you're not going to get it. One thing I would tell you, though, I think the thumbnails are great. Make sure your topic, your title, and then the structure inside of the video is good, too, because if it doesn't hold together, it will save you.
Go to their video tab.
Yeah, I have to.
Let me see what else they got. Just in the matrix. Yeah, man, these are...
Man, you know what it is? You know what? This is one of those things I want to take one other second to say here.
Man.
A lot of times people feel like they have to put a thing, like a little branding element, or they have to put their name or some little logo to make people know that it's their videos. Right. This is a perfect example of branding by design. I would know this channel, if any of these thumbnails showed up tomorrow for me, I'd go, oh, it's that Scary Stories guy. I know the branding. I know the look of his thumbnails. Developing a look for your thumbnails it can be branding in and of itself. Look at these are all very different. The images, right? It's not his face. He doesn't have a branding mark in there, but the way he's building them, the way he's incorporating incredible text that's got all kinds of complexity to it, but it's super readable. Man, doing great. Doing great. How old is the channel? Hold on a second. I just want to see from the About tab. Yeah. You're just barely over a year old. Yeah, you're doing so many good.
Get that awesomeness up into your channel art. Get that imagery up into your channel art. That distressed look. Like, that's just, man, you're nailing it with the thumbnails. Just nailing it.
Totally. Yeah. And another thing, we always talk about this on our StreamYard show. Uploads, multiple playlists. Hey, man, bring all that value prop into your channel. Build that homepage landing so that the channel art looks great and explains all the scary stuff. The name of the channel kind of gives it away. But make sure you got great playlist titles, not just uploads and playlists. That doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help people understand what the channel's about. But, man, thumbnails alone.
I would pay for those thumbnails.
Yeah. If you said that you had a service,
Yeah, if you are paying for those, hold on to that person. These look really good.
Really good. Love them. Love them. Like everything about them.
Yeah.
Nothing bad to say, Derek. Thank you for the super chat, and you're doing a great job. Stick with it.
I would click so fast on this if this was something that I was into. Like, man.
Love it. I mean, but see, sometimes people, say he said roast them, but we only point out the things where we see flaws, and if we don't see them, there's no flaws there. Sometimes people just get it right. And a newer channel too. He's not that
10
old.
out of 10.
Just
10 out of 10
it
on
right.
thumbnails.
God, love seeing that. Love seeing it. Well done, my friend.
10 out of 10 on the thumbnails.
This was a $4.99 super chat from Joy Builds Cities, and it says, "How fun and helpful. Would love any feedback. Always looking to improve. Boy, aren't we all." So let me put this one up here. Let me see if I can pull up the thumbnails. And D, Megan, can you give D a countdown here? 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm just trying to get an idea of what's going on here. Addressing food security. Okay, there you go. Thank you. All right, you've got 15-minute city, guy riding a bike. Okay, I would do this. I love that you're putting the city on there, like Joy Builds Cities. I get it. But the thing that you're trying to focus into, be it the person on the bike or the person walking or the planting, enlarge that. I would love to see that at least half of the thumbnail or 40% of the thumbnail. And I would choose a font that is more bold than what you're using. I think the lettering's a little too thin. I would like something a little bit more bold that stands out a little bit more. Other than that, I think these are actually pretty good. Because I can't read the text, so there you go.
That's the biggest thing I'm seeing is we had to use the magnifying glass to really understand what's going on. Simplify it so that we don't have to do that. Make sure everything's really understandable at a glance. That's really important.
And the 15-minute city, I can barely see that on a desktop blown up. So
another example of branding that doesn't need to be there, right? If you have a really great thumbnail like the channel before that has a style of its own with the city and then the circles, that almost is your branding. You don't need that other piece. Right. It just draws. Think about everybody when you're making thumbnails. Think about that you want the thumbnail itself to draw the viewer's eye in a singular direction. So if you have something here and you're like, look over here. No, look here. Now look up here and read this. Right. Pulling people's eye in a lot of directions so that they have to like decipher it. Make sure you're figuring out the balance so that all the elements work together so it hits them all at once and goes, oh, I know exactly what this is. Bang, I see what this is. Cool, I'm in. Let me go check it out.
Right, so design elements. You can lead people's eyes by shape, size, and by color. What you're doing here, and I would love to see how everybody in the chat is reading this. Everybody type into the chat, how are you reading this? I'm reading this. My eyes are going title, Because I'm looking at the title. Actually, so first I'm looking at the ball. Then I'm going title, back to the ball. Then I'm drawing down to the 15-minute city because of the pinkish red color. We're really drawn to reds and bright pinks and that sort of thing. So my eye, no matter where I start, it's ending up down in that left corner at your 15-minute city. And that's just drawing my eyes to the wrong thing. You want my eyes to go right to that circle thing there. Or that bold text right up at the top. That should be thicker.
Yeah, I did. There's some elements in there that work, kind of work. Let me see. Some of the comments were Cement Surfer. Remember Cement Surfer? Cement Surfer back in the. Good to see you, pal. Hard to see on the phone. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Same. Let's see. Hard. Unseen Thailand in Chiang Mai says,
hey.
yeah, hard to read. Good to see you, Chiang Mai representing.
We're in the house
Same
today,
thing.
man.
William Huffman says, quite difficult to read. That's one of the things you really want to pay attention to. It's really trying to make sure that it's easy for the viewer to understand. I think what happens to you is sometimes we build these thumbnails on our desktops. We're sitting there. Some people do them on mobile devices, but they're still doing a full screen of their mobile devices, and some people do them on desktop, and they're using a full monitor. And you get into the lulled in this false sense of security that what you see is great. Remember, these are all going to be much smaller, and they're going to be mostly watched on a mobile device on a page full of other thumbnails. So you really need to keep it simple, clear, and understandable so that someone just glancing at it goes, bang, I totally get what this is.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I'd like to see on top of that is that circle, the focus circle, and then some really thick, bold text up at the top like you already have it. Get rid of that clock, get rid of that little pinkish red element. It's drawing the wrong attention.
Okay. Let me see. Trying to get through as many as we can here, folks. Doing our best. I even have help. That's why I have D with me. He makes me a better
You're
person.
doing your best. I'm bringing it like 92.3%. You're doing your best.
Sure. Let's pretend that's the truth. Okay, this one here is from Seabase Adam with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. He said, I've been working on improving my thumbnails recently. Interested in hearing your thoughts and feedback on them. Sure. Let's see, D, you did the last one, so I'll take a look on this one. I'm going to just try to, let me see, these are the newest ones, so I'll look just at the newest ones. Seabase Adam, I'm just trying to quickly get a vibe for what this channel is. It's got a rail train. I don't know, but it's got Epcot, so maybe
Epcot Center,
maybe this is all Disney or Epcot. I'm going to guess maybe. That's what I'm guessing right off the bat. Okay, Megan, can you give me a countdown, please?
3, 2, 1, go.
This is kind of cool. I like the image. I guess this is probably something, the Tribute Store preview. Maybe this is inside Disney. You have to, excuse me if I don't know. It's Universal Studios, Halloween Horror Nights. Okay, so that's what you got going on. I kind of dig that, but I wish there was a little more color to this and a little more pop. And this is going to be very hard to read, Halloween Horror Nights. I know that you're putting it in here and you're trying to draw attention to that. I probably would have either just made that a little more readable or lose the or just put the Universal Studio stuff maybe down into the title afterwards. I like this too, but you're pointing, and this is exceptionally hard to read. The biggest problem, this is a little better that you've outlined the Little Boo's new manifestation. They're not bad. I can see what you're trying to do. You're trying to get the pop, but I would boost some of the color. I like what's going on here more. It's got a little more pop to it, but these ones here, when you're pointing at something and I can't read it,
10 seconds.
I would probably have grabbed a better image of that, and I would have circled and pulled it more forward. So watch your composition, your balance, your readability, and the pop. If you're going to do Universal Studios, make
Make it pop.
Make it pop. These ones are better. Yeah, when I go down here, I start seeing all that stuff. This is from 3 years ago. A lot of branding stuff. I'm glad you moved away from that. But, one of the things, anybody, whenever you're making a thumbnail, use Google. Go like Universal. Let me see if I can actually type here. Let's put it in Universal Studios Halloween Horror Nights. And let's just see what kind of images might better represent some of that stuff. If you can see there's images here of people being super scared, like, oh my gosh, that thing jumped out at me. Or they've got, this is a little different, but you got the big fire. I would probably crop this in a little bit. This great fire popping out. Someone actually being like this one here, someone being really scared. So this kind of thing, I think you want to represent. If it's all about this, look at these two demons coming in, or people in costume coming in and like freaking out this girl. As many images you can get to represent that. There's a great one right there. Look at that one.
Wow, what a shot.
That's the kind of thing. Let Google be your friend, right? Like, think about it. If you're there, go, I need to capture a picture like this. I need something with the reds and the yellows and the fire and the smoke. That's a killer image right there. You wouldn't even need text.
Right. I was going to say, if you're actually going to these places, and I think you are, but if you're going to these places, think in terms of I have to make a thumbnail. Don't just think I have to make a video. Think I have to make a thumbnail. I need an awesome shot. So that means you need to take some photography tutorial videos on YouTube to learn how to take shots like this, and then you go there and you track down these characters and you take awesome shots like this. That's where you're going to start seeing a difference. Go back to his channel really quick.
Yep.
I just wanted to point out the difference in views. Again, it could be topical, but look at the view difference between the first two versus the third. But that third thumbnail is so much better in terms of how that jack-o'-lantern is just standing out, right? Mm-hmm. Like those are the sorts of things you notice in terms of views. Could be topic, but that thumbnail is a lot better to me than the others.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of anything that really jumps. Learn from, don't be afraid to learn from other people. To type the topic in to Google, look at what's going on around out there. Not from other necessarily creators, just imagery. Let see if you can get inspired by other images that are out there. I'm not saying go to Google and take those images because that can be problematic for copyright. But be inspired by it, and maybe they use that if you're gonna go grab an image from one of the houses like Pexels, Pixabay, Stock Adobe, Storyblocks. They might have the one that's better than your image and use one of theirs. Don't be afraid. Like we're just trying to create strong packaging that really will compel the viewer to click. But if you're there and you're taking pictures, which you clearly are, man, take a great picture. Take a great picture. I think that's super important.
So many people, especially when they're just getting started or they're struggling to build that momentum, is they just have in mind, I got to make a video. I got to make a video. I got to make a video. Completely forgetting that they got to make a thumbnail.
Yeah.
And if that thumbnail, I would argue to say your thumbnail is more important than the video, because if you don't get clicked, nobody's even watching your video.
Very true.
So I would
for the main traffic sources, right?
For the main
Not
traffic
so much
sources,
for shorts, but
right. But I would put just as much energy into creating that thumbnail and getting the right images as I would actually putting your video together, because it's a whole package.
Yeah. I think that's what happens sometimes, and I know it was true with me when I first started making content on YouTube. You get so focused on making the video that the packaging becomes secondary and last minute, and you're like, well, now I have to package it, so I'll do that last.
Right.
If you really have an idea of what you're building and know pretty much what the title's going to be, or pretty close to it, you know the topic, the title, you have an idea what you're there, you're thinking about the thumbnail. Man, like that, it should all kind of happen all at once, so that you're really thinking about not just last minute whip something together and throw it up. Man, really think about how to package that thing. You know, you got a product here, and you're trying to get people in the door. So make sure the curb appeal is there, the topic, the title, the thumbnail, the timing. It all has to work together from the outside so that it stops someone's in their tracks and gets them to click and watch.
Yeah, that one image of that creature, like. Wow.
That one there. Great,
holy
right?
moly.
There we go. That's the kind of images that would represent it. And it's even got Universal there on the tower. Think about how it's subliminally putting all that stuff in that he wanted to do instead of having to do a text overlay telling people it's Universal. Just smart kind of stuff you can do.
And look at those fingers. Wow.
Yeah, fingers on that. Not you, Nani. Sorry, didn't mean to. Your fingers are probably fine.
Yeah.
So let me see. This is Nani's. What is this called? Nani's Place and Courage's. Okay. New member. If you just joined, make sure you go to my members tab and click on that. You'll see the perks. One of the perks is your ability not only to get members only content, but I do have a Facebook group called the Battalion Members Only Group. Make sure that you click on that link. Even if you don't use Facebook, you should only use it for that group alone. I have plenty of people in there that do that exact thing. And just ask for admission and make sure you drop your channel URL, and we'll let you in. Love to have you part of the battalion. I appreciate the super chat as well, $10 super chat. So here is Nani's Place. Let's see. You did the last one, right? Right. Okay. So let me pull this up. Megan, can you give me a countdown, please?
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, there's a lot going on here, and it's drawing my eye all over the place. There's a ton of color, so you're giving up a ton of real estate just in color. And then it's don't go back to Egypt, and then there's people pushing a rock uphill, someone hitting rocks, someone running, someone pushing against. Then there's sort of you just in the thumbnail that's not really adding anything. It looks like a screen capture of maybe you talking into a microphone, and it says don't go back to Egypt. I wasn't in Egypt, so this means nothing to me, so I'm confused on the packaging in general. Same thing here. To date or not to date? That is the question. I think that's better, dating or not to date, and it got a few more views for you too, which it did better. I think I would have probably tried to represent, if you're going to put yourself, I don't mind it, but you should take up more real estate, and I would have just gone with the to date or not to date. I wouldn't have done that as the question. There's too many words in here. If you're going to use text, keep it simple, right?
10
This is
seconds.
not. I'm not dead, just divorced.
Look at the
Love
views.
it. I love
Look at
this
the
one.
views.
Look at
Look at
this,
the
and the
views.
views. 1600 did much better. I love the packaging. It's the angle you took here. Very compelling. Love it. Balance. And I can read it. Very well done.
Yeah. Really quick, if that dating video is about dating after being divorced, that's what you need to say. Dating after divorced? Question mark. Right? Because people are obviously connecting to that. I'm not dead, just divorced. You're connecting to a very particular audience right there.
Come
So
back to
if
that.
that's-
Come back to that well too. When you do
Yeah.
something and it connects really well, like this is your moment of encouragement, is talking to people who are divorced. You
Yeah.
might feel like, their world has ended, or who knows what happens. And I've been divorced. I know all kinds of things happen, and maybe some friends won't talk to you. Whoever, whatever that topic is, this connected. Come back to that. Make another encouragement video about dealing with life after divorce. I'm not saying turn your whole channel into that, but if that's what you're doing, if you've got date or not to date, it's about dating. It's about, this confuses me. Egypt, throws me off. But in here it's talking about dating and then talking about what it's like after divorce.
Because you're a heathen. Because you're a heathen.
This is great. I love this. You did a great job here. This should be your benchmark of how to make a great video. The size of you, the way the text worked, the way people are clicking in it. Try to work that out. It gets a little hard to read. The word divorce, that is over your torso here, so be careful. Perfectly readable up here, not so readable here.
And yeah, I just want to throw this out there. I don't know what you're passionate about. I don't know how many videos you have on divorce, but if divorce is if that's a common theme, there's nothing wrong with going heavy on walking people, what to do after they get divorced, or how to get divorced, or what to like that. That's a whole community of people. Like you're serving an audience at that point.
Yeah.
So if you're passionate about that and that works for you, I would lean into that. Only if you're into it, though.
Yeah, my wonderful smartass friend Eric Waite from Eric Waite Whiskey Studios
This guy.
wrote
Eric.
in all capital letters with no spaces in between them, "What do you think of my thumbnails?" I love Eric. He's one of my favorite, most sarcastic people. And a $10 super chat, and it says $10 for a dram or a gallon of gas. Well, yeah, I'll take the dram. It's always nice. I've been into Whistle Pig lately. That's been pretty good. All right, so this one is, I did the last one. I'm going to drop this one on you, our good friend Eric Waite, who does a pretty
Uncle
good job. So Megan, can you give us a countdown here?
3, 2, 1, go.
Can I see a couple of more thumbnails?
Sure. You want to go ahead a little bit? Hold on, let me go.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Eric. The first thing that I would do is when you've got yourself in that thumbnail up there on the top. I would remove that stuff, right? What's behind you is probably the most important thing. And if that guest is the most, if he's a known person and he has a fan base and people know him, put him in your thumbnail. You don't have to necessarily put yourself in the thumbnail. Now, some of your text gets kind of wordy and you get weird fonts. I know that you might be using the fonts of the brands or something that looks like the brands. I get that. But some of them are difficult to read. And you got to watch your shadows. You see, is it worth 200? The way you're dropping that shadow underneath it makes it actually difficult to read the text.
10 seconds.
Right? You've got the distance too far when you're using the shadow. Keep going. See, look how easy that is. We drams from the Dram Yankees. That's super easy to read, right? So just be careful with the font choices. Even if you're using brands. You see how you have the brand right there for the distillery, the Oban right there on the left? See how simple that is to read versus go all the way up, versus that one?
The one on the top left here.
Yeah, I would have maybe put a dark circle behind it so that just kind of screams off a little bit to speak to the audience who might recognize that brand.
Yeah, it's interesting. I always try to look at it. It's tough from the outside looking in because he does a lot of mixing of edited content and live streams, and his live streams do pretty well based on content. But I do Eric, always think about the people who don't know who you are. Okay, live streams absolutely going to leverage community, right? But always try to think about a branding. You should really be featuring some of these things that are really pushing the. This one I thought was actually pretty smart, right? Great picture of the bottle. The same problem with you've got way
Shadow.
too much You've got way too much distance in the shadow. I would have pulled that way back, and I don't even know if you need hardly any, and I would have taken the radius up a bit, and I would have pulled the distance much closer, and then I would have dropped down the amount of shadow. But this is great. You've got the Grandona, and is it worth over $200? Be careful of the timestamp, but I can pretty much read it. And it got 4,000 views, right? Because that's you get rewarded for stuff that really show the product and compel the viewer. This leverage curiosity. Don't always leverage search people when you make content. Don't just go, here I am doing a review of this alcohol, right? Well, if somebody doesn't know the alcohol or isn't interested, they're like, I don't need to watch that. But if you put a compelling element into there and say, is it worth over $200? You don't have to know the product. Now it doesn't matter. It's like, wait, what is this stuff? It's over $200? Now I have to check. What? I've never heard of this Glendronach 21 Parliament. Now I have to watch, because you've used a thumbnail to add a compelling element to an existing title that is more product centric and search centric, SEO built, but you've thrown a super compelling element in the thumbnail. That was smart.
Yeah, I would also pay attention to thumbnails that might have higher performance when you're putting a zoomed in bottle. Like I would go through and I would start looking at these and look at like the click-through rates based on, see if you could even group them up and you can say, okay, which ones are getting the more clicks? And if you can find, I'm big on trying to find patterns when I do something. So I would say, okay, which style works the best? At a glance, it looks like the larger bottle ones with the label closer to the screen. It appears those do better. At a glance from the outside looking in.
I'm always looking for time, right? So this is the first one that jumps out in the last year right here, 10 months ago. Jameson Black, so you're going with
that's good
a very
too. A
well-known,
must-buy.
but a must-buy, and you've got the bottles are black and white in the background, so the color pops off of it, and then a must-buy, it's that compelling element. Like, why is it a must-buy? Why is this one different than any other Jameson? Why do I got to buy the black label?
Right.
And I want to click this to find out. And you just put real simple, Jameson Black Barrel Irish Whiskey, 11,000 views 10 months ago. Very nicely done. Don't be afraid, people, to leverage compelling elements. Just putting Jameson Black Barrel Irish Whiskey is the old analogy we talk about. Dee and I say this a lot. Is like going into a supermarket. Everything's just like, it's not compelling. It's just the aisles say soup, vegetables, cereal. Right. So yes, you've got the SEO target in there, but don't be afraid to turn this, Eric, into something like why you definitely need to try Jameson Black Barrel Irish Whiskey, or whatever you do, don't miss Jameson. Do something to compel the viewer. Don't just put that in there because yes, it's searchable, but what's going to make them click is this thumbnail. And don't be afraid to make your title be as compelling as your thumbnail. I think that's being compelling, leveraging curiosity, super, super powerful stuff.
Yep.
Let me see. And thank you for the super chat and the always great comedy that you bring to my community in the world. Appreciate that, Eric. Spooky Lukey. I'm gonna have to find it though. Hold on a second. Let me filter by channel.
Spooky Lukey.
Which one is it, Megan?
Oh gosh.
Is it the camel? Is it the I? Is it the S? Who would have thought there were so many Spooky Lukies?
Spooky Lukies.
There was a 449 pound super chat. I really appreciate that, Spooky Lukey. Hope I'm saying the name right.
It is the I.
The I. Okay. Any help, please? Question mark. You got it, pal. Let me pull this up. Is this one my turn?
Yep, that's yours.
Okay, here we go. Let me take a quick look. Spooky Lukey.
Before you, can I just throw in my 2 cents before? Yeah. My advice would be go study that other channel that we pulled up.
Yeah, 100%.
The one that had those scary thumbnails. Like when we finish, when this live chat is over, go study that channel.
Which was Derek Weber Scary Stories. He was great.
Yeah.
He was really
That's
great.
my 2
Loved
cents.
what he did.
I haven't even seen your thumbnails yet. That's just my 2 cents before we even got started.
Yeah, boy. Hold on a second. Now I have. Yeah, man.
I don't know. That one's pretty good.
Give me a countdown here.
3, 2, 1, go.
Boy, I really like this sort of old school image of the woman popping up and the Enfield poltergeist, the real Enfield haunting. I think the packaging is pretty good right here. I don't think that's bad. This one less. It's just a bunch of houses. I'm like, if you didn't have the word poltergeist, I'd be like, what is this? A drone footage of like an English village? So not as compelling. This one here.
Holy moly!
I like what's going on here, but then as your face is in there, and then its grandmother has seen a demon. Boy, save that for the title. And then get the hashtags out of your title. No hashtags, please. I like what's going on, but I think that I would have probably gotten rid of this and just put the the shocked grandma face and then maybe an arrow to go like, what is it? I can't quite make out what that is.
If that's your grandma, like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
like,
grandma looks good. Right.
What
I love
happened?
the dolls. It's a little all over the place. Scariest videos on YouTube. A lot of this is kind of just a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, that one, actually two, number 1 and number 3, I thought were phenomenal. Just some little tweaks on those.
Yeah.
And then some of the others kind of get lost a little bit.
I think these are getting much better, right? That one pretty good.
Yeah,
I think the
good.
elements are here for this one, but you're pulling my eye to text and you're pulling my eye to this face in the corner I really want my eye to just focus on wait a minute, what am I seeing with maybe like an arrow? I would have left this just black and white circle and like an arrow pointing up to that.
That's it. Yeah, 100%.
And then grandmother sees, not past tense saw, grandmother sees a demon over baby's cot! ! No more hashtags and things that are going to throw me off. Hashtag demon does not help you in your title, okay? Hashtags in your title do not help that video out, okay? So, but otherwise, I think there's some improvement there. Definitely go check out Derek's channel. I thought he was doing a great job.
I might even do something like grandmother sees a demon over sleeping baby.
Yeah, right. Because
sleeping
baby is more compelling than over baby's cot, right? Because it's over the baby's cot if the baby's in there.
Is there a baby in it?
Right.
Right.
Because who cares about the cot? They care more about the sleeping baby, right?
Sleeping, innocent little baby that's just so cute laying there with on top of it.
With a demon over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Dobrnik channel, $10 super chat, no comment, just $10 super chat. So let's pull this up. D, I think this is your turn, my friend.
All right, let's see. What are we doing here?
We're doing thumbnails.
Can I see the channel art really quick? I just Lakes, Weather, and Beyond. Okay.
Megan, countdown, please.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, we've talked about this for a couple of channels. I think you're on the right track with the imagery. However, they do look a little dull. They look a little, they could be brightened up. You could have some saturation to them. They look a little dull. But here's my biggest complaint, is you're taking all of the text and you're putting it over the thing that I want to see the most. Like, I want to see the Colorado River. I don't necessarily want to see all of that text. If you are going to put text on there, you could stick it all the way up at the top, or like we saw on the other channel, you could cram it all down onto one line and keep it smaller so the majority of the image is the Colorado River. But I'd like to see it brighter. I'd like to see it a little bit more vibrant. I don't want to see text all over the thumbnail like this. You're getting in the way of the actual image. And that image over to the far right, way too dark. It seems like all of your images are a little bit dark, so I don't know how you're making these. Possibly your monitor could be calibrated incorrectly. I'm not sure. But everything needs to be brighter and more vibrant.
Well, you nailed the timing on that one. Yeah, one of the things I'm going to add quickly right here, I looked at that very first one. The title is Colorado River Troubles, and then the thumbnail has more of a title in it than the title. Colorado River Troubles, the river drops lower. I would have put that into the title. Like Colorado River Troubles, don't do all capital letters. YouTube has told us they do not want that. They do not prefer that, and they haven't said specifically that they're not going to, that they're limiting the reach on that, but they've said for a while they don't like that feeling of everyone screaming at them. So don't do all capital letters. Nothing wrong with capitalizing a certain word or capitalizing the first letter of each word. Always works really well. But I would have loved to have seen Colorado River Troubles hyphen river drops lower with the word lower, in and then exclamation mark, and then just show an image of the river being the height being dropped down. Capture that. Don't just show the river. Show that the fact that it's been dropped down. That's
and it just
like
says the text could just say dangerously low. Like that's all the text is. Dangerously low. Dangerously low level or something like that.
Yeah.
You have 2 channel members, by the way. 2 new channel members.
Do we? Let me see. They've been coming along the way. Let me see if I can catch them in the comments. Okay, we have one new. Let me go over here. One new member, which is Cement Surfer. I'm gonna into the battalion group. So make sure you go to the members page and you click on the perks and get your access into the Facebook members only group, and you'll have access to all the members only content that I have on the channel. And I'm going to convince you to change that name into something that's more readable. But welcome to the battalion, my friend.
Marcos Victor is also a channel
Victor.
member.
Is that an earlier one? Can I find it? Let's go. Marcos Victor, also welcome to the battalion. Make sure that you go to my members tab and see the perks and apply for access to the battalion members only group. That group is phenomenal. We have people in there just crushing 10,000 subscribers every single day. All these new channels that are just blowing up, and everybody, they're all going full time. We have such a huge success rate in there. It's a great channel, great members content to learn from, and a lot of people in there to help. So welcome. Let me see. Where are we at now, Megan? I'm trying to keep up
get on
with
that
these.
if you don't see it already.
We got it.
You got it already. Okay.
Okay. Let me see the next one. I see a here. Let me try this one right here. Whew. Okay. Let me try that. Paste. And let's try this one. Dalton Grimes with a $2 super chat. I appreciate the super chat, my friend. Let me pull up your channel here and let's see what you've got going on.
Anytime I hear the word Dalton, I think of what's that movie
Roadhouse.
with, Roadhouse. Yes, Dalton.
Dalton.
God, what a classic! They don't make them like that anymore.
I love
Wow.
that movie. Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen that at least 3 or 4 times. It's a great
Yeah.
movie. Dalton
Patrick
Gaming.
Swayze, man.
Apparently, it's a gaming channel. I can see that here. One thing, we're not here talking about channel art, but let me just do this. I'm gonna shrink down a minute here and see what this is optimized for. Dalton Gaming. Be really careful, my friend. I guarantee if you go pull up your channel on mobile, you are going to find that this is cut off. You actually won't be able to see the word gaming. It probably says something like Dalton Gaming, and that's going to be cut off. So make sure you optimize for all devices. Okay. Let's see. Now this one's mine, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let me just make it a little bigger so I can see. Dalton Gaming, and
I'm going to go home and watch Roadhouse tonight.
Yeah, I think we should have a Roadhouse party. Let's just
Oh man, we should have a Roadhouse watch party together.
Watch party.
And everybody just get together. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
I have never seen Roadhouse.
Oh, you're missing out, Megan. Be prepared for greatness.
Oh my, yep. Yeah, I know what's coming this week.
All right, give me a countdown.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, I think some of these are kind of cool. They're clearly gaming. Power Wash. I Start a New Job. Pressure Washer Simulator. Minecraft long play episode. One thing in here is make sure that this is a decent thumbnail. It looks like Minecraft. I kind of get it. Dance party. It's not that I hate the thumbnails. You know what's missing from here? Compelling. It just looks like every other gaming thumbnail ever. And it's not just about having a cool balance and putting the words Minecraft or putting dance party. You have to, dance party seemed to do much better than anything else, right? It did pretty good from 3 months ago. More views to that. So you got to make sure that the thing you're bringing to the table as a gamer, and I say this all the time, it's too saturated a market to just do let's play.
Well, what just happened?
Oh, was that me? Did I?
I don't know. Somebody, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, who just froze?
One of us did.
That was me.
Could be both of us. All right, hold on a second. Let me pick up. Megan, give me an extra couple seconds here. One of the things I want to talk to you about is listen, the Minecraft channels that are taking off right now are channels that are doing things like Minecraft, but I only walk in a straight line. Right? You got to be different. So just thumbnails are not enough. You got to bring something to it that's unique, that's different, that people go, wait a minute, that's different than what I've seen before, and then bring that into the thumbnail.
Yeah, I just want to throw something out there for gaming. And I when I was doing channel reviews on my channel before, here's what I say to gamers. And Daniel, I would love your input on this as well. If you're a gaming channel and you're not building channel momentum up yet, and you're like, why am I not growing? My thoughts on gaming channels is this. You need to bring something different to the table, like Daniel was just talking about. Minecraft, only walking straight lines, right? Something different, something that not everybody's doing. Or you need to have some sort of an amazing personality, or you're really funny, or you're sarcastic. You need to have something personality-wise. Or you need to be an incredible gamer. Yep. Right? You need to where people just love to watch you because you're so good. You need to have one of those elements, because if all you're doing is gaming like everyone else is gaming, you're going to find it really hard to grow your YouTube channel. And if you're just doing it for fun, that's fine. But if you're like, hey, I want to be a gamer. Like, this is how I want to do it. You have to find an edge. So you're either going to be really good at it or something personality-wise, or you're going to be doing something different, or teaching people how to play the game.
Yeah. We say this all the time. I think sometimes I talk to people and it's like, well, what makes you unique? And you're like, oh, well, I have a different way of playing, or I'm really funny when I bring a lot of comedy into it. It's like no one can see that from the outside in, though. So you have to make sure whatever that unique thing is visible to the people who haven't clicked on your video yet. So representing what makes you stand apart from the rest and what your new angle is, is super important to understand what makes you stand out. Because I don't care if you've got the most generic video in the world about gameplay. I don't care how great your thumbnail is. If people have seen it 1,000,000 times, it's going to be really hard to get them to buy your ketchup as opposed to someone else's ketchup because they're so used to seeing the bottles of ketchup, right? They know who they like. They like Heinz, and your new ketchup probably isn't going to grab their attention, right? So just think about that. Like one of my favorite discussions I was in, I think it was a Clubhouse panel with Dara Leaves, and someone had asked him like, well, how can I make more unique gaming content? And his recommendation was so spot on. He's like, what you should do is you should contact one of your friends, someone who has you got a treadmill, get a treadmill or borrow a treadmill or go to someone's house with a treadmill, get another friend who's also on a treadmill, and you should play the game. And so if it's going to do a let's play or a play along, play against them. And every time one of you guys dies, you have to increase the speed of the treadmill and lift it up and raise it up the level, so you have to, now you're running harder. And then the first one that gets tossed out the thing, I was like, that is genius, right? It's doing something that people haven't seen and bring that into the packaging, right? I play, I did a head-to-head, first-person shooter game against an opponent on treadmills. Then you go like, holy crap! I would watch that, and I don't watch gaming channels because I want to see who lost, and I see the guy like I want to see the thumbnail with you and your buddy running, trying to hang on, and you got the controller or whatever it is. Bring that once you have your angle, the angle of how you're going to approach the content, then it's easy to start thinking about your thumbnail design and build something that's really compelling.
Yeah, and if all you're doing is playing the game. That's it. And you're not bringing anything else to the table, you're not going to grow your channel. That's that's the harsh reality of it. You have to find something that helps you be unique. You have to. Unless you're just doing it for fun.
Absolutely. I think this one is yours. Our friend Greg Tardif. Good to see you here, my friend. And $4.99 super chat. Thanks, pal. I really appreciate that. Is this how to get a thumbnail critique? Yes, it is. Apparently that worked perfectly for you, my friend.
You had me at baby's butt. Yeah. Demon. Grandma saw a demon over the baby's butt. There's a thumbnail.
All right, I'm going to put some of these on screen for you. Do you want me to go this tab, or do you want me to go to the videos tab, D? This one's yours.
Let me go to the videos tab and go past the shorts.
Let me see if I can get past some of the shorts in here. Let's see. Is there enough there? Can you get a feeling of what's going on here?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can just get down just a touch so you can see some of the views there.
Yeah.
Too. All right. Megan, can you give us a countdown, please?
3, 2, 1, go.
All right. You're getting views, and I like a lot of the imagery that you're using. The only advice I would give you on some of these things is when you have individual images, not necessarily that one, but go to the bottom right where it says, I'm surprised. Like, make that larger. You've got too much wasted space. So be mindful of the wasted space that you're using in the imagery that you're wanting the viewer to actually see. And I also like it when you put your text up top because you're not covering the actual razors themselves. So again, be mindful of placement, be mindful of the surrounding area, and be mindful of where you put your text. I saw some text where it was like over the product. Don't put it over the product, right? Make sure you're always showing the product. Otherwise, I think they look pretty good. Like pick the best here. Like I would enlarge those a little bit
10 seconds.
And then drop them down a little bit so the actual heads of them maybe are a little bit larger, or maybe even shrink the text. Pick the best.
Yeah, cluttered images too. Make sure this one's done really well for you 4 weeks ago.
All kinds of stuff going on there in the background. You want simplicity with everything, so when the viewer's looking at it, they're like, "Oh, that's clearly a razor."
Let me just say to everybody out there, when we've been talking about this, I hope this has been coming through. It's not just about thumbnail design. It's understanding the topic, title, thumbnail, timing, really trying to figure out what your angle is for building this. This is much smarter, Greg, when you did pick the best. That's really smart. The 5 best razors to get into wet shaving. What are them? I don't know what they are. You didn't tell me. Pick the best. I have to click to find out. Compelling. Very compelling. Yeah. Right? That's a compelling element. I think that's really, really smart when you do compelling stuff. When you do things that, a day in the life, Greg's day off, who
What does
cares?
that mean?
What does that got to do with shaving? Like listen, if you go to if I take a trip with Megan and we go to Aruba, should I put a video on my channel about my day in Aruba? No, it doesn't serve the needs of my target audience. So make sure that even if that does have something to do with shaving, I sure wouldn't know it from the outside in. And you got rewarded with underperforming video and fragmenting your audience.
Stay clean, get clean. Look at all that clutter behind the products there in the top left.
Yeah.
Look at all that clutter right there. Get clean, stay clean. I don't even know what's going on there. Like there's so much stuff behind it, and the stuff behind it is the same color as the product.
Yeah.
So when you're focusing on products, again, like you're using I'm gonna nitpick on you here, man. So here's the thing. It's not just about the placement or making it larger. It's also about contrast. So even though you have the razors on here, you're putting them on top of a wood background, which actually it looks good, but there's no contrast because the dark color of the wood matches with things like the handle of the razors, the same colors. You see that? There's no contrast there. I would do something like go look at things like Brightside and stuff like that, where they'll have like a bright blue background and then like some weird clock sitting on it. Yeah. Right? So like a bright blue background with like a black razor sitting on it, or a green background, or that might not work with your target audience. But
what would have been an easy fix for that one right there, D, the new safety razor? I would have taken that one. I would have masked the razor, and everything outside of the razor. First of all, I would have cropped it in, and then all that wood table it's on, I would have gone black and white. I would have pulled all the color out of the background. Yeah. So the razor, that bronze of the handle, and that pops, and it doesn't compete with the wood tones in the wood. So the razor's not only closer in, so you're not giving up so much real estate, but then the background is black and white and gives it a ton of that pop. We were seeing a similar thing in Eric Waite when he had like bottles that were against the black and white background. The color of the liquor really jumped out. Really, really smart stuff. I mean, otherwise, I like the balance and stuff. There's a lot of great smart things done here.
Yeah, I would go for contrast, and I would look for material that's going to highlight it. So if you're trying to go with a more manly thing, I don't know who your target audience is. So I was talking about like bright blues and stuff like that, but that could work. But maybe get a little piece of steel or something, shiny, or something that's going to make that razor just scream off the page.
Yeah.
And learn how to light it. Get some little lights and learn how to light it properly, so the lighting hits that razor and just makes it explode off the image.
Yeah, especially if you're doing product. I mean, don't take this the wrong way. I think these are good product shots, but I think you can do even better.
That's what I mean about nitpicking.
Yeah.
They look good,
thing I would say,
I'm nitpicking.
You know what I'm missing here that he has in some of the content? This is one of the things we talk about a lot. This is why people think thumbnails alone win the click. It's the whole package. One of the things you did here, I'm surprised. New safety razor from the razor company, and you didn't say exactly what it was. You gave a little bit away. I would try experimenting with some things, like when you do the Battle of the Sixes. That was smart, right? You got a lot of views, 7,100 views. The 6C versus the 6S, you compared the two. That versus, I would have said, there's something that works. Comparing two different razors. Think about compelling. If you're going to make a video, say, if I only had one razor to use the rest of my life, this would be it. And don't tell them what it is, right? So that you can create compelling things that people want to click and go, well, what's the razor? It looks like a cool picture, but I can't tell what it is. Don't always build for search. Build for the viewer. Optimize for the viewer. Compel them to click.
Hover over the Battle of the Sixes and look at the imagery laying on the table. Right there. Battle of the Sixes. Down. No, I mean like not with the magnifying glass, but like let it play.
Oh. Let's go.
Get rid of that. Way too long.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing here.
We got
cut that out. Cut that
product. Yeah, that's a big thing I think sometimes people forget. When we're building content, everyone, remember that titled, the packaging alone, I made this analogy all the time. It's like when you're trying to sell a house or you're shopping for a house, right? You see the picture of it, and you go, boy, that looks beautiful from the street. It's got nice lawn, the manicured hedges, everything was freshly painted. I love the look of the house. It looks like a big piece of property here. You walk in the front door, and the railing's falling down, the ceiling's collapsed, the floor's buckled, and you go, nope, I'm out. There's no amount of coolness from the outside that'll make you overcome problems with the inside. So when you build your content, You've got to get right to it. Get right into it, imagery, everything. That's why if you study guys like Linus Tech Tips and Mr. Beast and anyone who's making a Peter McKinnon, they get right into this sort of that opening moments of that video. That first 10, 15 seconds will set the tone whether or not people are going to hang and watch that video or if they're going to walk out of the room like Dean Iman just did. So make sure that you're really using the opening seconds of that video to compel that viewer and really represent what's been promised in the thumbnail and the title.
Can you, real quick, pull up like wet shaving in YouTube? I want to see what some of the top images are. While you're doing that, I'm getting ready to make a tweet, and I just screenshotted some of the images. So this is the beginning of my video. So this is the beginning of my video when I just get right into the point. I just got right into it, right? Hopped right into it. Versus this is what it looks like at the beginning of my video when I waste too much time at the beginning. You see that drop? That's an enormous drop. So that's the sort of thing that you're causing when you're wasting too much time at the beginning of your video. Be it through some sort of an intro, you're taking too long to get into it, people are leaving or they're skipping forward. Get right into it. Times have changed. You got to hop right into it now.
Yeah, you're smart of you to say, put in wet shaving. Now let's look at actual humans being involved, and look what we start seeing. 474,000 views, 791,000 views. This is 13 years ago. That was only 5 months ago. And here's a proper wet shave, and here's the, like the guy laying back and being
that one's
shaved.
ASMR. Interesting.
As an ASMR, yeah, very interesting. Here's another one. Luxury hot towel wet shave, right? The guy getting the wet shave. So I think one of the things you can learn from is you've gone with a lot of product images. Think about, the experiment. Try different things. Not just always going for product images. Think about actions, people getting shaved, the face, the cream, the thing on the side. Don't use to everybody. Think about what happens sometimes is we get locked into the reason I do this this way is because that's how I've always done it. And you don't question yourself. Right. You don't stop and say, well, have you thought about doing something different? Try a different way. Look at what other people are trying and think outside the box, because if you keep chasing, I'm trying to perfect the thing that I'm doing and it's kind of working. I think it's always good to experiment and try something new and be bold and take one video and go, I'm just going to approach this a little differently, and I want to see if this will connect. Because I think that's thinking outside the box is so important.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to look that up, because I wanted to see if products were being shown or if they were focusing more on people actually shaving or not. And real quick out of the chat before you pull up the next one, Dandy Stope DIY asks a great question. Says, I know this sounds negative, but are you saying that all channels need to have the same type of thumbnail? That's not what we're saying. We're saying you need to have effective thumbnails, and a great way to see what's working is to see what's the highest performing thumbnails in your niche on YouTube. That doesn't mean you have to copy them exactly, but it's just to give you an idea of a good place to start. Like, this is what's working, right? If your thumbnails aren't working for you, then you need to figure out why that is. And the great place to start is looking at channels where it is working.
Yeah. You need to be compelling. The thing is, you have to think about don't extract thumbnails and go, just thumbnails. It's all thumbnail. Think about the entire thing that you're creating, the viewer experience, and how you can leverage things that would win the click. Do I think that all thumbnails should be the same? How about this one? Look at this one right at the top. This is not yellow, and it's a big block of yellow. 21 million views from Vsauce. Why is that a great thumbnail? Because look at the title says this is not yellow, and there's an entire block of yellow. You go, well, wait a minute. That, of course, is how can that not be yellow? Click, click, click.
21 million. I've never seen this one before. This is great.
Oh, it's a great video, too. You should watch it. So think about what you want to do is make sure that you're thinking about how to be compelling to the viewer so that the conversation you're having is well represented in the packaging and wins that click and gets them to click down the rabbit hole. We have a $9.99 super chat from Ivan Toons. I can't say it. Iventures. Iventures. I can't read it. I'm sorry. I'm having trouble here.
You know, if that This Is Not Yellow video was released today, because I believe that was like almost a decade old, I guarantee there'd be 50 people in there debating that it is yellow. Like, no matter what he says, no matter what science is behind it.
Of course that's yellow.
Of course that's yellow.
Of course
kidding
that's
me?
yellow.
The corporations are paying you to say this isn't.
How dare you?
Yeah, Crayola is paying you, aren't they? Yeah,
Is this mine or is this yours?
that's yours.
Okay, well, I can't pronounce the name. Hopefully I can do a better job with the thumbnails. Megan, can you give me a countdown, please?
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so I guess this is a travel channel. This is kind of cool. I mean, the image is cool, but the problem is it says the other side of El Salvador, bring your family. If I just look at the image, I get nothing about travel. I don't really get that vibe like you're in a special place because the background doesn't really push the location. If this is really talking about El Salvador as a great place to bring your family, then I want that great family shot on location so that I see the location and I see how happy the family is. I think you nailed a portion of it here, but then it's trees in a building. As far as I know, this just looks like you're outside of like some college or something, and the kid is like happy that she's not old enough that she has to deal with college yet. I think here the truth about El Salvador is better, but then the text is hard to read, and the timestamp covers it, and you've got the flag. This is I kind of dig this one a bit more. I think that's actually better, and it got more views too. Is it safe to travel? And you got the picture there. I think this is a better design. I think that's the best of the four.
Agree, 100%.
Yeah, and this was a follow-up, right? He had one that did really well, so a couple days later he doubled down. So really smart doubling down. Is it safe to travel? That was a good thumbnail too. I think that El Salvador, is it really dangerous? Watch for the timestamp covering. Smart, and I like that you doubled down. You were talking about safety. Here's another example, people. Don't be afraid to compel that. If people, what are people thinking in their head if an area is unsafe? What does unsafe travel look like? Like, do you go like, you got your bag packed and you're nervous, or you're like, you just maybe it's just a faced overlay with the El Salvador background, and you kind of did on this one to the right, where you're kind of thinking like, smart, it was smart. You have that thought. I don't know if you needed is it really dangerous in the thumbnail, because I think it's a little tough to read. I think the El Salvador and the title was enough. I think you could have lost that white on the black bar there. But I think that when you nail it, you can see you get the views. And I think that's true of every channel. Don't be afraid to listen to your target audience. Topic, title, thumbnail, and timing. When you nail it, you'll watch and you'll see that your audience responds more positively to the whole packaging.
Yep, dig it.
Let me see. Let me grab this really quickly. Moving right along here. Dee, have I talked to you about how to keep eggs from sticking to your television? The Teflon TV, my friend. Teflon TV.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
This is all you. Teflon TV, quickly up here. Let's see. It's on. It's the Dawn. It's the Dawn
Teflon TV.
Good thing we're not judging travel during channel art. Okay, Dee, this is all you, my friend. Can we get a countdown, Megan?
3, 2, 1, go.
I think these look great. You see, like, he's got the Night King right up there. The text is easy to read. It's bold. It's simple. The Night King identity revealed. Like, that adds like a compelling element where people are like, oh, really? I want to see the Night King. Show me the Night King. Who is the Night King? It matches with the title. Finally answered. Right? Like, that entire packaging is on point. And let me see the views. The views prove it. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you're doing a fantastic job. Big Easter egg. Got season 8 big twist, leaked scene, S7, E7. Yeah, man, I think you're knocking it out of the park. My only critique about any of this is when you're using the logos of the channels. Like, you see how you have Game of Thrones up in the corner and you have Better Call Saul up in the corner. It's really hard to read those. That being said, your target audience might identify them, even though it's difficult to read. But it's just something to be mindful of. I think Better Call Sauls, I think, are fantastic. I'm just nitpicking there. I think they look great.
Yeah. I agree. I think a lot of these are great. Be careful with some of your newer ones. If we just looked at older stuff, really smart, tons of views. I always go to those are older videos. Newer ones, lots of text, making me read a lot.
Change the style. Look at that.
Change the style, and hidden behind the timestamp. Be careful. Be careful. I think the imagery is great, but you've got a lot going on here. I don't think all of this, and I am not a fan of season 1, episode 2 breakdown. It's like so much. Save that stuff. You were so much better with your older stuff. Was so much easier to understand. Super compelling.
Yeah, that's it right there. That's everything.
Yeah.
Go
be
back to
careful
that style.
when you've got it figured. Now again, with any channel, it's always topic too, right? Topically related. You know, when you're in the middle of talking about a really powerful series that's got a lot of tentpole interest and it's trending, leveraging trending topics really, really smart. Now that let me just see really quickly what you're doing here.
And like talking about Wanda now is like,
Yeah.
is that even relevant anymore?
No.
Who is she really? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think getting on the new House of the Dragon, super smart.
She's going to play House of Dragons. Okay, see, you got truncated.
Oh,
I didn't,
okay.
See, I didn't pick that out right away. I had to struggle to figure out what that video was about.
Oh, who is she playing? Yeah, right. Because
She's going to be right?
the packaging was a little off. You know, Elizabeth, and then I had to Elizabeth Olsen announcement. Who she is really.
Yeah. You're talking about
you're making
Wanda
us wrestle
right?
to find the thing, right?
I don't have time for that.
Yeah, ain't nobody get time for that.
Ain't nobody got time.
When you do it right, your content is undeniable. When you make it a little trickier for the viewer to engage with it, and they have to think too much, and they have to you leave views on the table because you're missing them in the scroll. So simplify. Yep. Keep things as simple as possible. Use your own metrics and data to figure out what works the best, and don't necessarily wander away from something that works. I get it is topics too, but when you got a thumbnail strategy that's really crushing it, along with your titling, don't let them get truncated. Keep that packaging really strong, okay? Because I think you got a great channel. It's just all about making sure that you're keeping it easy for the viewer to understand, which is true for all of us.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the new style.
No, it's losing me.
Too much.
Too cluttered.
Yeah.
Too cluttered.
Yep.
Let me see what I just saw. Our Extraordinary Life. I assume that's this one right here. We have a $5 super chat saying we would truly enjoy the insight which you guys provide. We would. I didn't even read the comment from Teflon TV, and I apologize. It was a $5 super chat asking, is it better for a channel to have one style of thumbnail or multiple? Boy, I think we answered it without even knowing your question. I review shows. Some shows I get a lot of views and higher CTR than others, not so much. One thing I want to make clear here, let's talk about this for 1 second for everybody here and in the replay. CTR itself is not... Don't press your nose against one metric of CTR and go, I got a lower CTR, the video's not as good. On how many impressions, right? Mr. Beast, and the average on the platform is 2 to 10%, right? So you'd think Mr. Beast must be like 10% or higher. He's more like, I've seen his data. He's like, high 4s, low 5s on most of his videos because it's billions of impressions. When a video gets pushed out more, that means it's going to be put in front of a lot more people, and a lot more people who potentially might not be the right fit for it. But YouTube has that all factored in. It knows when a video is doing well with a much broader target audience. It knows the CTR is going to drop. It knows the average view duration is going to drop. But it's how well it performs in perspective to the amount of people, impressions it's put in front of that matters. So don't always focus just on CTR. Focus on velocity. Focus on how well that video is doing day after day after day, and if it's gaining traction. If it is, you've dialed in your packaging right. I think we nailed it when we were talking about is doing different thumbnail styles okay? Absolutely, it's fine to do different styles of thumbnails. What you don't want to do is move towards a style that becomes more cluttered and hard to read and makes it more difficult for the viewer to connect with the content at a glance, okay?
Yeah, that's great. And if you are just starting out, like Daniel said, about not pressing your nose up against the CTR and that, like if you're only getting a few hundred or a few thousand impressions and you're worrying about your CTR, just don't. Just focus on making your videos, do the best you can, and keep uploading. Once those impressions start looking, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, that's when you start getting a lot of impressions. That's when it's a good time to start looking at your click-through rate. But if your views are low, your impressions are low, don't press your nose up against CTR. It's too early.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that, and they freak out over it. Or they think it's something else. I got a 20% click-through rate. Great. How many impressions do you have? 1,000?
Right.
That doesn't mean anything, right? So you gotta look at your perspective has to be right when you look at your click-through rate.
Yeah, and it is, and that's the perfect example from that last channel is really understanding, like knowing that they cover certain shows, and there's only going to be, not all views are guaranteed, not all reach is created equal. So you're going to do some things that tentpole events that you go, wow, now that they're doing the sequel to the spin-off of the Game of Thrones, that might have more reach because people are super interested in it. But you might find a different show that you cover, like Better Call Saul, may not. It's all comparative. So just do the best you can do each time and start learning in general which content plus topic plus packaging seems to work the best. You saw how excited we were about your older thumbnails. I would have clicked some of those. They were so good. The newer ones felt cluttered to me. So maybe declutter a bit. Find to do different styles. Find to test out. You don't have to have. I actually tell people don't get locked into one thumbnail style. Like if it's not performing, then don't just go, well, that's how I make my thumbnails. Try something different. Shake it up. Don't be afraid to experiment. But don't keep changing them just to change them, because sometimes you'll have it right and you'll move in the wrong direction.
Perfect.
Here we go. We got one super chat from our extraordinary life. I like the name. A $5 super chat. We truly enjoy the insight from which you guys provide. We'd like enjoy your opinions. Anything to help us improve our content, grow our channel. Let's take a look at thumbnails. That's what we're focusing on today. We've got shorts. I'm trying to find which one uploads. This one's yours. Is this yours, D, or is this mine?
That's yours.
That's mine.
That is
okay.
Yours. Yep.
Shorts we can't really look at because they're automatically pulling their own. I got to tell you, Mike, I wish the screen grabs on my shorts were this colorful and interesting. Mine are horrible, terrible. Jeez.
So weird how they choose those. Give
me a countdown here, Megan.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, I see living at home, extended stay hotel, how we made it work. I think you've got, home away from home. There's a lot of weird color balance here in this split. I see what you were trying to do. You took a room, and this is sort of the before and after. You took a standard room, and then you homified it by bringing in pillows, and you got the dog. I think that's a real dog laying there. On that, what I would have done is home away from home doesn't help me at all in this thumbnail. What I would have done is a simple before and after, right? Before, after with an arrow and a better picture that was balanced. See how that's farther back and that's close in? You need the identical picture so that you can feel the difference. If the picture is too different, then it doesn't trick your brain and go, oh, I can see it's the exact same angle, the exact same picture. That's blasé. This is phenomenal because you tricked it out. And then I would have said
10 seconds.
I would have said, instead of living at an extended stay hotel, how we made it work, I would have gone easier, how to make your extended stay hotel more livable. Keep it simple. Don't make crazy English words. That's it.
That's good.
I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. I dig what you're doing on a lot of this. I think with you, some of the things you have to be careful of that I will tell everybody. Target audience. Make sure you have a strong value proposition. It's like a hotel, then it's colossal creatures, then it's a tour, then it's eating.
Be great for colossal creatures. Take that turtle, just like you did the before and after of the thing. Take that turtle and put it next to a normal turtle. Even if you got to Photoshop them to where it's this is a normal turtle, this is a colossal turtle. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And that turtle should be taking preference over the text.
Yeah. I dig it. Some of the focusing is weird here. Our extraordinary life, 86 subscribers. Behind every ordinary life lies an extraordinary adventure. Kind of cool, I guess. I'm still a little bit it's I'm a little lost. I guess you're just going on adventures and trying stuff, so it could be cool. Some of that's being missed in the packaging. Make sure you're clear. If it just looks like you're trying a restaurant review, then I don't understand it. If you just go into locations, then it just feels fragmented. Then it just feels like you're a travel channel, you're a food review channel, you're an everything channel, and you're trying to somehow stick that under the idea behind every ordinary life, and trying to package it neatly to pull it all together. But at the end of the day, you're trying to be all things to all people. Let me talk to you about food. Let me talk to you about travel. But you really have to understand, why would the viewer, who's your target audience, and why would they come back week after week to watch your content over anything else? And be careful about fragmenting them. Make sure that you put your content together in a way, if you're going to do a lot of different things, make sure that it's under the auspice and packaging and the way you create your titles and everything, so people understand the connecting value, not just the individual value of each video.
Love it.
Let me see here. Let me copy this one. Let me see what we got going on here. Paste.
Those waffles look good, though.
They do look good. Jurassic Unicast. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Let me pull this up. I think is this the right one? Jurassic Unicast?
Gaming podcast.
Might as well be. Okay. D, this is all you, my friend. Here's the channel art. Jurassic Unicast, Gaming Podcast, Jurassic World Updates. Gaming Podcasts and Jurassic World Updates. Okay?
Okay.
And here are...
Lost World audiobook.
Let me see. Audiobook.
I'm a little bit confused.
I am too.
hold on. Yeah, let me look at this for a second before we
Yeah,
start.
let me go a little. Let me go to newer. Let me go to newer.
You're doing podcasts, but then I see art, which is fine, I guess, if you're drawing dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'm going towards the newer content here, and let's see if you can figure out. Megan, you want to give us a countdown?
3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, I'm really confused here with your longer form content. Chaos Theorem, Jurassic. Go back to the first one here. Jurassic Pop Quiz, featuring Chaos Theorem. What? I don't know what Chaos Theorem is. Is that a person alive at Jurassic World, the exhibition? There's a lot of stuff going on here in the thumbnail, and I think you really need to focus what's going on. I don't know who the people are. I don't know if I should care about the people. I don't know who you're trying to reach with this. Fans of Jurassic Park? If so, I would really think about how you could simplify that, like take out the featuring and Chaos, the Dram, unless he's famous or something. A new gaming channel, head over and to subscribe. Don't ever put something like this on your thumbnail. Head over and subscribe. You don't want to do that. That's not going to convince anybody to subscribe here.
10 seconds.
Again, there's a lot going on here. There's like two guys, and there's a bunch of smaller people behind them and dinosaurs. So here's what I would do. I would pause, and I would just stop for a second and think about people who are into what we're into. What do they want to see? Do they want to see dinosaurs? If so, then that should be in your thumbnails the most. Do they want to see rides? If so, go look at the rides and look at some of the imagery that some of the top channels are pulling out of rides. But as it stands right now, I am really confused in terms of the imagery that you're using. I don't know who you're talking to through the imagery. Because to me, when I look at the imagery, unless you say Jurassic World, it doesn't say any, the images don't say Jurassic World to me.
I let you go long.
This is tough. This one's tough.
Yeah. This is one of those things we talk about too, people, like Jurassic Unicast. As we go through this, I think that your channel is really all things Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park
Right.
games, Jurassic Park the movies,
Yeah.
Jurassic Park attractions at theme parks. You know, that's one of the things that's missed. I can see the Jurassic, but Unicast means nothing to me. Gaming
Right.
podcast means nothing. Gaming, Jurassic World updates. It's like, pull it together. Make sure at a glance you go like, the ultimate. It just would have been better if it said Jurassic Unicast, the ultimate resource for all things Jurassic
All
Park.
things Jurassic Park,
right?
yeah.
Or for Jurassic Park super fans or whatever. All things Jurassic Park. Spell that out, and then you can break it down into, they got a new game. They've got, here's one of their themes. Here's one of the
Right.
audiobooks. And then you can start doing things, because you had success
shorts.
years ago with an audiobook, The Lost
Look at
World.
the shorts for a second.
Wait a minute, there's a problem
Oh,
here.
yeah,
I
look at
don't
that.
think you're allowed to read other people's books. You might, this did very well, but unless you be careful here. Reading other people's works is actually a copyright infringement on YouTube. So be extremely careful here. If you have not been demonetized for that, you could be in the future. But those are the ones that drove the most views out of the park. What did you want
Look
to
at
do?
the imagery on the shorts.
Great.
Dinosaurs.
Love it.
Like that, to me,
1,700
that's-
views, 5,800 views. Look at these. Yeah.
Right? That's the imagery I'm thinking. So, like, that to me, like that, a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Type in the chat, when you think Jurassic Park, type in the chat what you think. Be very specific. Do you think Tyrannosaurus Rex? Do you think just dinosaurs in general? But, like, that's the imagery. When I think Jurassic Park, I'm thinking Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like, you see that logo right there with the little skeleton? Right there. Yeah, like that makes sense to me. So at the very least, I would have stuff like that in your thumbnails just to make that connection. Like, oh, I know what that is. Like, I'm not even into Jurassic Park, but I know what that is.
Yeah, and the same thing here, like, right? It's like this is a reaction to the Prehistoric Planet trailer, which is
Who
cool.
are these dudes and why should I care?
Right, I don't know who you are. And then you had the
Right.
cool image that I've seen from that, but then you
Covered
put your
it.
faces over it, you wrote over it.
Right.
It's like, yeah, watch what you're doing. Try to keep things easy for the viewer to understand. But I appreciate
Type
the
in
super
Jurassic
chat.
Park. Type in Jurassic Park. Let's see what's going on with Jurassic Park for YouTube.
Okay.
Jurassic Park. It's a theme park, I guess, or all things Jurassic. Jurassic World.
Let's just see. Let's see. Look at the kind of images that come up here, right? Look at the kind of images that we're familiar with that have to do with the
Dinosaurs.
giant dinosaurs, right? The cast
And the
members
thing-
from the movie.
And the thing here isn't so much that, like, oh, it has to be dinosaurs. It's just that it has to be imagery that people understand. When you're thinking about growth, you're thinking about connecting with a broader audience, right? And for people to connect with people who are into Jurassic Park, they want a specific type of imagery. Oh, that's Jurassic Park. I love Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Put in Jurassic World theme park. Put in like Jurassic World theme park. I think that's what it is.
Let's find out. Oh, here's a great image. I love that one right off. Look at that image right there with the Tyrannosaurus Rex's face busting through. Is that the T-Rex? I think it is. Yeah. Right? Doing that right. That's one of the rides. And here it is, like all these images from the ride and the area that you're in, and the dinosaurs and the coaster, dinosaurs, the roller coaster with the dinosaurs around it, the dinosaurs' heads.
That looks awesome. All right, now here's the thing. I don't care. So whoever Steven is, go scroll again, Steven and Taylor. I don't care who Steven and Taylor is at this point because I haven't clicked on anything yet. I don't know Steven and Taylor, but that thumbnail speaks to me.
Which one are you looking at?
Right there. That blue and eating right there. Nope. Go down.
This one?
Nope. Where'd it go? Nope. Up maybe. The other way.
Where'd I lose him?
Nope. Down. Sorry.
I'll find it.
There.
Oh, this one here,
million views. Steven and
sorry,
Taylor.
Yeah.
That blue, that speaks to me. Oh my God, that's an amazing looking dinosaur. I don't care who Steven and Taylor is. If Steven and Taylor would have put their faces on that thumbnail, I actually might not have clicked on it.
Yeah. And it just says visiting Jurassic World, the exhibition, 6.9 million views.
Right. Very simple. They didn't even have to put anything on it. Right? And that, man, that just, that pops. So study this stuff because it's working. Don't overdo it. It's really easy when we're getting started to want to I got to put all of this stuff in the thumbnail so the viewer understands. No, you don't. You just have to make a thumbnail that people, I know what that is. You don't have to put all of this stuff in the thumbnail for people to understand it's a dinosaur. Just put the dinosaur.
Totally agree. I think, and that's, and that's true for everybody. Like, really think about what connects with the viewer. Like, what's going to trigger them. And it's, it's easier to sort of think about that when you're talking about Jurassic Park because there's so many iconic images. But a lot of you out there are doing basic channels that don't have those iconic images, but there's always something. Even as we went all the way back to the beginning, and one of the channels was a housekeeping channel, and she was showing how to clean the vent hood for her stove. Like, people know what a vent hood looks like. People know what cleaning rags are. They know what the rubber gloves you put on to do house cleaning, or do dishes or any type of thing like that. So sometimes just connecting images in your head smartly and using them to effectively create an image where someone goes, I know what this is. I know exactly what this is at a glance. Leverage those kind of things that's in people's heads when you think about that thing. And if you're confused, do what Dee said. Like, go into Google and just type the words in and see what kind of images pop up to get inspiration.
Yeah. I see people doing that, stuff all the time. They want to shove so much stuff into a thumbnail. And you got to think about why someone is clicking on the thumbnail to begin with. If they don't know who you are, then don't put a bunch of people in it who they don't know who they are.
100%.
Put the thing in that they're going to connect with. In this case, it would be a dinosaur.
Yeah, okay. We get a $9.99 super chat from It's Maya, who I think we've had here before because that name sounds very familiar. Thank you all for the time. Would appreciate any advice or thoughts you had on her thumbnails. It's Maya. Great looking channel art. You can definitely see that that's It's Maya. She's right there.
I think we had her on the game show a long time ago.
This definitely the name rings a bell. So so it stuck with me. Hey, the same thing I always say though. The idea of leaving spaces. I know you've got 179,000 subscribers. That's great, but I have to read that twice to remember what it is. I do love spaces and actual words when you write your title of your channel. But let's go down to the uploads and let's see what's going on. Let's see. You want to go to videos? Let's go to videos. So this, definitely assuming that all of these views are organic. Okay. There's quite a few views. The channel seems to be doing well. I can never tell from the outside looking in whether there's any paid reach in here, if this is organic. So we don't know off the top of our head. But D, was this, which I can't remember, who we at, me or D?
This is you.
Okay. Megan, why don't you give me a countdown here and let me see what I can come up with.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, the thing I'm looking for is things that connect with your target audience. This is exactly like we say. We're always trying to figure out the thumbnail that is effective, That doesn't mean it has to be just like someone else's. So when I look here and I see that, assuming this is organic, I'm going to start paying attention to how you've been using your thumbnails with your titling. This is a back-to-school clothing haul. I can read the text. You've got a bunch of stuff. You're standing there with all this stuff. And it says $2,000 plus back-to-school clothing haul try-on. I like this. I think it does exactly what it's supposed to. There's you standing with all these boxes of Nike and stuff. You're well-centered. You've got the back-to-school clothing haul. And then you put the nice compelling element of over $2,000 you spent on, and you did it that way. $2,000 with a plus sign, back-to-school clothing haul try-on. Boom. And you got 170,000 views for it. So that's smart for targeting. Back in here, first day of school,
10 seconds.
junior year. This is your first day back in school, showing some different images of being back in school. I think a lot of this is really smart. I like what you're doing. Give me an extra minute here, Megan. I think what I would tell you if I'm going to give you advice, I think that we can talk thumbnails all day long, but if these views are actually organic, that's, it's hard to say if they are, but I'm going to assume they are. Your channel's got decent size and these are organic. What I would be doing for you, Maya, really pay attention to which topics do well. So if you look and you say, well, this one I just put up the other day, the haul was 2 weeks old and it did 170,000 views. That's pretty good. But 2 weeks ago also, you talked about the first day of school, junior year, did almost twice as many views. This is where you want to really think about which buckets underneath your value proposition really start getting the broadest target audience grab and double down on those. So instead of just paying attention to what your thumbnail, there you are posing, it's like, look at me, I'm kind of back. All right, great. That's fantastic. That seems to work. I don't want you to get too wrapped up in your thumbnail style, because if these views are organic and this is what you're driving, you've got it. You don't need to hear from me. What you need to pay attention to is which topics are doing the best with your target audience. So I'd start watching for these other ones. The back to school's been doing great. You did do the back to school try on haul. Here's a great example. I can't tell that you're trying on a bunch of gear. It just looks like a bunch. If I didn't know better, it just looks like this might be all you. It almost looks like a bunch of girls just with different shirts on. Very different than when you packaged with you holding all of the stuff and then said back to school clothing haul. 2 weeks ago, 170,000 views. A month ago, 86,000, right?
Still good.
Still
but
great, but you doubled those, more than doubled those views in half of the time by being more focused. So I love what you're doing with the channel. Fantastic. If this is all going the way you want, learn what works and then use your own stuff. When your channel gets to be a certain size, this is what people forget. When your channel gets to be a certain size, you're driving enough data to your own channel from your own target audience that the only person that you should be looking for to figure out the answers is you. Look inside. Look at what's connecting. Start breaking down. You can go into analytics and you can start breaking down your buckets into separate organized data sets. You can do groups. And you can start going, I'm going to put together my traffic haul ones, my back to school, my clothing haul ones. I'm going to do my back to school ones. I'm going to put life behind the scenes. This looks like, this says world premiere. It looks like you were in a movie. Fantastic. So think about if you're doing stuff that talks about more about acting career, if this is kind of falling through, try to break those buckets up and start paying attention to what's really connecting with your viewer, because some stuff that's super important to you may be less important to the target audience and vice versa. So we always want to leverage a big part of trying to win the click is topic and timing, right? Get the topic, what you're talking about, figure out what works and double down on those things and make sure that you're really pushing it, which it looks like you are, but there's clear examples of when you do it really well and when it's a little bit vague. So try to remove the fuzzy parts and really get the hyper focused onto things like, if you're doing a haul, I want to see with all the bags and I want to see you carrying them. Great stuff though. Congratulations on the success.
Congratulations on your growth. Yeah.
Let me see. I've got another channel here. Let me pull this up.
And I just want to say this, and that's a perfect example of a channel. And I mentioned this earlier before we started. She's not following necessarily the best practices in terms of thumbnails, but she figured out what's working for her target audience.
What did we say? It's about making effective
Exactly.
packaging. They have to. If your audience is reacting, someone might say, "Well, there's too much imagery going on," or But the way you're putting this together, if people are clicking and they're watching, that's great. I will say that that some of this for me seems a little cluttered with a lot of images stacked in there. I personally, on something like these travel ones, I would try to get that. See how this starts? I would have started with that image. If this, that's just the what
Totally.
That image of you, I would have gotten a
Screaming.
great screen capture, and I would have been like that. You guys freaking out, of doing crazy stuff. That's much more powerful than all of these stacked images that you have here. I would be doing this, my friend. A/B test your thumbnails. Take these videos that seem to be doing well. Try a different, and then once they've been out for a month or so and they've kind of leveled off, do some testing and see if you can improve and squeeze more juice out of these videos.
Yeah, and I just want to say your thumbnails are working, but exactly what Daniel said with like that surprise thing from the roller coaster, like with a little bit of tweaking on your thumbnails, that might be the difference between where you are now versus doubling or tripling your channel size with a little bit of testing and a little bit of tweaking to figuring out exactly what it is that's making people respond.
Yeah. And here's an obvious thing that I always say, travel vlog part 2. Like if I don't know you, I'm not going to jump on the travel vlog part. I didn't see part 1, so I can't watch this. And then travel vlog doesn't tell me anything. It's just apparently someone's travel vlog. And there's so many pictures, it's hard for me to figure out what's going on. Then it says vacation vlog. This is all about you. It's nothing about me. 71,000 views 5 months ago. Not a high performing video for you, as opposed to when we see these new ones that are your first day back in school, junior year, $2,000 back to school clothing haul, try on haul. Those really focused things that bring the viewer in, that they can understand. It feels compelling. There's something going on there. Those things seem to really be doing well for you. So don't always just label my vlog and expect people to go, well, it's Maya, I have to watch. That's good for your community. Not so good for people who don't know who you are.
Right.
Let me pull up this one. But thank you for the super chat, and congratulations on the success. We have, look at, all levels of creators in here. I love watching different creators of different sizes come in and just sort of show what they're doing in their niche, and getting a really good feel for the sort of, the way that there isn't, someone said earlier, are you saying make thumbnails all one way? No, it's not everything is die cast from a mold. Is try different things. You'll know when it's working because your audience will respond. That's what we're looking for. Effective packaging.
I think the worst thing to do is just lock yourself into a design and just hold on to that design and be like, I'm just going to keep doing this.
Yeah.
It's like, this one is not working. Try something else, as well as learning how to wordsmith your titles as well, because it's overall packaging.
100%. Hey, here's another one here from it's Tony, baby. First it was it's Maya, and now hey, it's Tony, baby. $6.99. Hello, guys. Love what you're doing. Would love you to review my thumbnails and titles. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you asked it that way, too, because I really do think the two work together. But this one's on D, so I'll let him tell you what he thinks. Megan, can we get a countdown over here?
3, 2, 1, go.
Henan Lagoon. Let me go down to the titles here. Lagoon Resort, Boracay. Okay, so the first thing that I would do, so if you're obviously in the Philippines, so I would make sure that the word Philippines is somewhere in your title, because people are going to be searching for Philippines and not necessarily Boracay, right? So I would make sure the Philippines is somewhere in your title. I think your thumbnails are definitely eye candy. I love the imagery, especially, I love that palm tree one with the slanted palm trees going out there. But what I don't care for is that particular font right there. Like, you're almost with it, but I think some of the other fonts that you were using are a little bit better. It just gets kind of lost back there. And I understand what you're trying to do graphically. It just gets a little bit lost. That said, the imagery of the palm tree leaning over just looks great to begin with. Once in a lifetime, our wedding story. Let me see some more videos here. Hey, I went to the Mayan volcano, Mount Mayon. Let's see, Summer Lake. I think your thumbnails look good, man. I would like to see some of them a little bit brighter. Like, some of them they're a little bit dark, some of them brighter. I would make sure that Philippines is definitely in your title. I was looking at the thumbnails more than the titles. What's changed at Saman Lake? Ultimate Mount Mayon. What is really good? Idea. Yeah, I mean, there's some things that you can do with your title. Like, can you go to the videos page?
So much for a timer, Megan. It's just like, forget it.
Yeah. I think your thumbnails are fine.
Yeah. Thumbnails are pretty good. You know what I want to say? I'm going to say to everybody out there, think about being compelling in your titles. This is Boracay. Cool. Henan Lagoon Resort. Boracay. Cool. It's just, there are channels out there that are making content that are leveraging much more compelling elements, and you can do that too. Like the greatest vacation resort that you've never heard of. Don't even put the name in, right? Do something like the most perfect white sand beaches on the planet, in the world.
Right.
Use compelling things that people might be thinking, because if they don't know Boracay, then they're not going to click and watch. They'll go, I don't even know what that is. It doesn't trigger me. But what might trigger them is the
clearest water. The clearest water, the whitest sand.
The whitest sands, the best, the most affordable tropical vacation, whatever the thing is that makes sense for that video. Trigger them, and don't feel like you always have to leverage search and go, I have to put the name of it, or people won't know what it is. They don't have to know. You just want to get them in the door to go, what is it? Looks beautiful. Where is that? Curiosity. Leverage curiosity.
Best Boracay hotels for couples.
Right.
Right? Stuff like that. 3 hidden beaches in Boracay you must see. Like, there's all kinds of compelling ways that you can do your titles to make people go, oh yeah, I'm interested in Boracay. I want to know about the hidden beaches. I want to know where the clearest water is to go diving. I want to know what the most romantic hotel is for couples. I want to know where the best place to go is on my honeymoon. I want to know the best place to eat, the best beach bar. Right? Think about this. Think about what somebody might be looking for when they're looking for a vacation to the Philippines, to those islands.
And leverage both. Sometimes you can reveal what the place is. Sometimes you can not reveal. Just, trigger people who are like, I really would like to, we're thinking about going on a vacation. We've been to Aruba. We've been to Cancun. I just would like to find a great place. And maybe people are thinking, what's the perfect tropical beach vacation that you haven't gone on yet, or something. Like, think about how you can be compelling, the perfect vacation spot that's not on your radar, something that someone goes, well, what is it, what's not on my radar, where is that? And you got that perfect palm tree and you're standing on it, thing. Then someone goes, where the heck is that? I need to click and find out, because I'm planning on taking a vacation. Maybe that's where I want to go, because that looks beautiful. Anything that can trigger the viewer. Think like the viewer.
The best diving in Southeast Asia. I'm interested in that, right? The most beautiful beach in Southeast Asia. 100%. But the picture's got to match, right? Like, you got to have that imagery in there, which I think you can do it, because you're taking some good shots.
Yeah, absolutely. The Matt Cave with a $5 super chat, thank you very much, said, I've been making a lot of updates to my thumbnails, but I still know I have a long way to go. Would love your thoughts and feedback. You guys rock. Hey, you rock too, Matt. A lot of updates going on. Let's see. That last one was you, correct?
Yeah, you take that one. I'll be right back in just a second. Hold on.
You got it. All right, let me jump on this one. Okay, let me go this way, get a little bit bigger here. Megan, can you give me a countdown? You got 60 seconds to pee, D.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, I dig some of what you're doing here. The first hour, The Last of Us Part 1, Last of Us Remake. Some of that's pretty cool. Same thing we were talking about before, Matt. When you have so much text going on in your thumbnails that the images are great, but there's just all this text that kind of covers it up and draws your eye in different directions. That can slow you down. The same thing here. A lot of real estate left around the edges here where you left all this blue, and it's getting, even the CPU versus CPU is kind of cropped. It's tight to the top, playoffs. I would try to maximize the space, make sure you're using the real estate, and make sure that your eye is always being drawn in one direction. A great tip that that Dara Leaves used to say is, if you want to figure out where your eye is being drawn, look at your thumbnail, stare at it for a second, blink 3 or 4 times, close your eyes, and then open your eyes really quickly. And look at the first thing your eye is drawn to. That, if it gets kind of janky about where it's looking,
seconds.
Then you want to rethink about that thumbnail design so that you're not using too much text and you're not having a lot of weird space, and that the messaging is very clear. All right? Simple and clear. But thank you for the super chat. And you're getting better. I do like colors. I like a lot of text. Try to simplify it. Another thing you got to watch for, sometimes these things don't always display great, but make sure you're always building. There's a black bar above and below. Make sure you're always using the correct 16:9 aspect ratio so you don't get any weird color bands and stuff, and block and black top and bottom. We try to use up all the real estate. Really important. Let me find another one here. Hold on a second. I bet you I can get 2 in before D comes back. Watch this. Look at me. That guy slows me down, Megan. I'm telling you. Lena Patterson plans. Lena sent a wonderful super chat, $5 saying, a lot of thumbnails look the same in my niche. How do I distinguish myself as a new channel? Boy, that's a great question. How do I distinguish myself as a new channel? I'm going to go full screen for this one. Let me go like this. And let's look at your channel. Megan, can you give me a countdown, please?
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, one thing you can do to distinguish yourself is what you're doing is putting your face in there, because people can start to recognize your face over time. But you've got so much stuff happening here. Again, text that is really hard to read because it's in script, and then new layout, holiday. I would never be able to read this on a mobile. New planner move-in. Really think about simplifying. Happy Mail. I am not a fan of text that's cursive and hard to read, especially on a mobile device. Think about using a font that is easier to read. Make sure that you're making it clear what it is that each video is about. It looks like it's all about planning. It's all planning. So make sure that weekly planning, like this one right here, look at how great it is. Weekly planning, even though you cut off a little right here on that, but it says planning. That's just the arrow. That's me. That's not YouTube. That's with weekly planning with stickers, and you've got a planner book, and you say stickers. You got more views on that than you did on the other ones because it speaks to the value prop, actually doing planning. So make sure you're using images that are true to the value of the channel that will connect with the people who are interested. I did 2D. I did 2.
Oh, look at you. You know what we're seeing here is we're seeing, like, it's the pattern. When the people have the packaging right, that's the views hit. Right? Yep. Like we're seeing this on every channel. When the packaging is right and you see that, the views are there. Every single channel.
Yep. Whenever something speaks to what the true proposition is, right? There's a planner and a short. That's where the most amount of views are, right? holding up the planner, pointing to it, my summer planner. When they're right, they get a lot of views. When you're just looking at, stuff that's not quite doing as well, my adventure planner, it's just, some of it's the stuff that's more focused towards what would trigger people. Those end up doing better. It's just the way it is. I think topic, title, thumbnail, timing, get them right. If you're going to think about one of the things I would say, like if you're a planning channel, what times a year do people need more planning going on? If you're a family and you've got kids going to school and they're doing sports and stuff like that, make sure that you're talking about not just your needs, but the needs of the viewer. How to get your calendar, how to plan and get your calendar set up for back to school, right? And then talk to about organizing so that have a back to school planner so that, if kids are trying to get themselves organized or parents are trying to be organized with their kids' sporting events, speak to the trending topics and tentpole events.
I always try to think in terms of, it's not what am I going to put in this image? It's what would my viewer respond to? What does my target audience want to see in this image? It's not what can I shove in this image? What would somebody respond to, the person I'm trying to reach? If I'm trying to reach a particular person, what type of title would they respond to? Not a title that I would want to write. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Sometimes that does work. But just generally speaking, what's a title that the audience would go, yep, that's what I'm here for, right?
Or one that would trigger their curiosity and bring them down the rabbit hole. This is not yellow, right? This is not yellow.
Exactly.
Something that makes them stop and go, what?
Right.
Here we got another one. A super chat from Savage Scientist Programming. $10.19. Interesting super chat. I just changed my channel to coding and computer science. Okay. Interesting. I'm interested to see what you changed it from. Let me just see. I just want to quickly go into the oldest first and see what you were putting up before. 90s Computer Shopper Magazine, Take Notes, YouTube Experiment, reaction to the New Orleans Uber driver. Okay, listen, if you're doing, before I even look at these thumbnails, if you're shifting from all sorts of crazy content and you're going in a new direction, there's two options here. Sometimes we get so caught up in the subscribers we have, we go, I'm not going to start a new channel, which is probably the right move in your case. If you're going to try to pivot, then what you need to do is you have to realize that every one of these other videos that doesn't have anything to do with coding and computers, every time someone watches one of those, hurts your channel. So your option is to unlist them and take them out of algorithmic rotation or start a new channel. If you leave them on here and go, but I got a lot of views there and I don't want to lose the views, then you become so attached to the views that you care more about the physical number than you do growing a channel. You're going to struggle as you move forward because every time YouTube pushes out something about Uber driver finding $500, people watch that and they go, that was a great video. I want to see more crazy adventures of Uber drivers and finding money. And you hit them with a coding video, They won't click, they won't watch, and you've made it harder for YouTube to connect your newer content with the right target audience. I'm going to leave that there.
Well said.
But let's start from the newest stuff. He's doing coding, learning to code. Let me see if I can find, let me go videos, the newest one, I guess. This is the newest stuff. This is yours. Can we get a countdown here, Megan? We're going to stick to the 60 seconds.
3, 2, 1, go.
So for your long form content, make sure you're not just letting YouTube grab a screen grab on that. It looks like you are. Put the work in, put in the effort to make a good thumbnail, unless it's a short. Math and arithmetic. Yeah, I mean, that might speak to a particular viewer, but if you are going to put that code in there, I would push that code way up in there and maybe tilt it so it stands out a little bit more, right? Push it up in there, get rid of the lines. You don't need to see the lines. Get it right up in there and maybe tilt it. And maybe there's a part of the code that is particularly difficult or something that people have trouble with. Maybe highlight that code and put an arrow to it. Point to that code like, this is something unique here. I think that's a short, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that one's a short. Again, I think that one was supposed to be a short, but maybe you
10
didn't upload it
seconds.
vertically.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that. Hold on, let me grab get rid of this. Let me grab that one again. Let's go down.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of stuff like this. Day 5, day 4, day 3, day 2. Like if I didn't see day 3, then day 5 doesn't mean much to me. That doesn't mean you can't do it, but I just wouldn't lead with it, especially on titles. Putting that on a title like that, it's not going to get you anywhere. Think about the person you're trying to reach. Let's say you're trying to teach C++ to somebody. If I'm trying to learn C++, how would you communicate with me? That's how you need to be putting your titles together.
Yeah. Super cluttered, too. We've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
I think I'm hoping that some of these things come through. Making it easy for the viewer to understand at a glance. You've got C++ in 31 days, keywords, and then I can't read the other half because it's blocked by the timestamp. Then you got this, and you got IOStream and include, and this, and then day 3, and then Savage Scientist, and you pointing. It's so much. It's so much that I'm like, oh, it's so much going on.
Like you've got day 1, let's learn to code C++ fast in 31 days. Learn C++ in 30 days. Something that's simple.
Yeah. And simple, like you've got so much going on up here. If I'm going to be thinking you're going to teach me how to simplify and learn coding, I can't even your thumbnails are so scattered that I would get the impression I don't know that this person is going to give me very simple, direct, and understandable information because I can't even quite understand the thumbnail. It's just got all kinds of stuff going on, cluttered and layered. Simplify this, all right? See if you can get that down to something that's more digestible.
Get rid of your name. Get rid of your name on the thumbnails.
Yeah, you don't need that. That's right underneath. Anytime your video is served, it's going to be right next to the video. You don't need it there.
And here's the thing: when you're putting yourself in the thumbnail, you are the brand.
Yeah.
So if you've already got one branding element in there, and the brand could be the design, as we've already seen in other channels. But if you're putting yourself in there, then you definitely don't need your name too.
Yeah.
So simplify all of this. Simplify all of this and think about how you can better communicate to people who are wanting to learn C++.
Yeah. Okay, all access construction. I think I saw a new member note there. If you are a new member, welcome to the battalion, and make sure you go to the members tab of my channel and you will see the perks options. Make sure that you can check out all of the members only content as well as joining the Facebook group. Just click on over there, put your URL in, you'll see the questions it'll ask you for admission, and come on in and start getting your learn on every single day. Okay, right here we have all access construction with a $5 super chat. Just threw it out there, no question, just saying, all right, throw me in there, let's see what we got going on. All right.
This one's all you.
This is all me. Let me start. Can I get a countdown, Megan?
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, let me start right from the very top. It's the same kind of thing we keep seeing. The image is very pulled back. You've got a lot of text going on over it. You've got arrows pointing to two different things. So my eye is like, do I look here? Do I look here? What? And I'm not even quite sure what I'm looking at because the house and the wall around it, it's all covered by text. So now I can't even quite make out the image. And then I start going down to the title and it's checkmarked. Right hand, part 1, 4. Is that 14? And colon, curved concrete rectangle. Too much. Simplify. Get all of this crap out of here. You should be how to build a curved retaining wall, right? And then you should have a really great shot of the curved retaining wall. High res, up close, showing the curve, getting a good angle on it. That's what I want to see. And if it is in multiple parts, how to build a retaining wall. Then part 2, if you want to put that, how to
10 seconds.
next portion, concrete, putting in the rebar. If don't do part 1, part 2, part 3, just say it in the title, like doing the framing, putting in the rebar of a curved retaining wall. Let them exist on their own. Let me find another one.
Well said. You're getting some views though, but you're going to get a lot more views when you do those tweaks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things. Like, if you're going to use arrows and they're pointing all over the place, that reminds me of the old, like, remember the old dance step things they put on the ground? It showed, like, the feet and it was like, go here and then here and then here. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing. Keeping it simple. Simplifying is all of it. I promise. If you simplify it, make it easy for the viewer to understand, you'll have a much better chance of connecting.
And just so you're aware, the way you're titling your videos, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But, you know, how to do this, how to do that, you're, like, really targeting search traffic there. I'm not against that. I built my channel that way. I know Daniel has a different view on that. But just know that those types of videos are going to grow slower. So just as a heads up on that. You got to plant those seeds and hope that they grow versus
I'm just not,
getting faster traffic.
I'm definitely not a fan when it's part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, because I feel like if someone gets served part 3, they're like, I can't watch this because you have to watch 2 parts before it. I'd much rather
I was
someone
talking
say
about like the how-to.
The how-to, yeah, but even like the
totally targeting search, right?
Right, and that's fine. Like how to build a curved wall. I don't think that a curved retaining wall, I think is fine. I think that's compelling, you know, to do that. But just make sure if you're doing it over multiple videos that you should be like how to build a curved retaining wall. You know, then you could do a hyphen and do you know, setting the form, and then how to build a curved retaining wall, adding the rebar, setting your rebar. How to build a curved retaining wall, pouring the concrete, or whatever that thing is, so that it's not part 1, part 2. Each one of these exists on its own. If someone watches in and goes, yeah, I know about the forms, I just want to watch this, it should exist on its own and not ostracize a viewer by saying, part 1, part 3, part 7, you know, you got to watch them in order, or this, or scroll past. I never want to push a viewer away.
Right. Steve says I have an echo.
Resources.
Do I have an echo?
Do you? I don't hear it.
Am I coming out of your speakers? Or?
Nope, no speakers. I don't hear an echo. Anyone else in the chat hear an echo? You sound good to me.
Steve does.
I'm not hearing an echo.
Okay.
Not on this end anyway. Okay, let's see. This is from Malta Network Resources. Thank you for the...
I'm all up in your head, Steve.
Messing with you. Steve's just, he's hearing everything twice because it sounds like we're repeating ourselves. Is that an echo? Let's see. What do we got going on here? I think this is yours. Same thing. Just no comment. Just asking to take a peek at these thumbnails. So it is just so you see the channel art. It's Malta Network Resources. Subscribe for travel, inspiration, events in Malta and the world.
I love all these international channels.
A lot of them today. All right.
Yeah,
well,
man,
can you give us a countdown here, Meg? This is
3?
usually.
Got this. This is me.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Salima Tour. Let me see the titles really quick. Malta Salima Tour, the summer streets of. Yeah, titles a little bit weird there. I think I'm not really sure exactly what's going on. Some of these walking red light. Okay, I know what that one is. Red light district, the Gut Malta, walking in stairs straight. Valletta. I'm going to guess it says Malta's red light district.
Yeah.
That's probably as clean of a thumbnail you can put on there. Gazira Festa, walking the streets of Gazira. So here's what I'd probably do. When you're like walking the streets and you're trying to showcase something, I'm going to guess that there's some beautiful architecture in Malta. Showcase that. Because what you've got here is just a little bit of architecture and a lot of people. I'm looking at the one here on the right. You've got a lot of people and your text is covering up the building. Right, yep. So think about shrinking your text. Get rid of the 4K. That 4K stamp is not needed at all. Get rid of that. Shrink the text. Showcase the beauty that Malta is instead of a lot. Got to zoom in, zoom in. Showcase the beauty of the place.
One quick comment from me. You know what I'm noticing in all of these videos? Every single one of this, people have their back to the camera. Everyone is back to it. No one is walking and being like standing and coming towards the camera and showing all the beauty of being in the moment and being in this great environment. Think about that. If everyone's walking away, I feel like I'm trailing the pack. I'm not getting that. I much prefer this sort of like being in the market. Now I know these are streams, but I actually like what you got going on in the streams, facing the camera and being a little more, you know, people smiling and waving. I like. I know these are streams as opposed to not all the other stuff is. This is edited content. Bring a little bit of that liveliness in there. I think that's. I think that can really help you.
Yeah, I think they look good. I think just a little bit of tweaking is needed.
Yeah. Okay, we got another one here. I'm trying to move as quickly as I can here. Trying to get through them. 25 looks like maybe $1. I don't know. A super chat from Junior Gutierrez QAR. Let me see if I can find the channel. Hold on. I'm not seeing Junior Gutierrez. Oh, maybe it's QAR. That's the denomination. Yeah. No wonder. Let me just go for tea. This is why not enough water in my coffee. Junior Gutierrez. All right, let me try channel again and see if I can find it. Filter this by channel. Okay, which Junior is it, Megan?
Oh gosh.
Apparently, there's a lot of Junior Gutierrez. Any of these avatars look similar?
It should be just a pink circle with JR.
Oh, good luck.
Let me see if I can get you a link.
Yeah, is it? Is it purple?
Oh, no, pink.
I'm looking for pink.
Hold on, it will be in the chat.
This one?
Right. Yep, there you go.
Is this it?
Yep.
All right.
One video. It's a short.
Okay, not a lot we can do with you here, my friend. You've got one. If this is actually your channel, I appreciate the super chat, but unfortunately we can't help you out here. We're covering thumbnails today. You've only got one short, which you can do custom thumbnails on a short, but they're not displaying them very much now on platforms. So I've been actually moving away from it because they're just not showing up. So what I would tell you is with the shorts, I'm kind of ignoring custom thumbnails right now because they're not really being displayed.
Holy cow, that's 6 years old.
6 years ago. So what is this?
Okay, he just put in the chat, adventurous real estate investors.
That's not him.
Oh, okay. Adventurous real estate. What was it?
Investors.
Investors. Okay. Was it adventurous? Adventures of.
Adventurous.
Adventurous real estate. Hold on. Let me try filtering by channel.
Is that it right there? Up the top, adventurous real estate?
No, the adventures of a real estate investor. Adventurous investor. Adventures in real estate. See if you can grab. Can you?
I can't because
no, it's not. You're not logged into your channel, my friend. Unfortunately, it's going to be hard for us to find it. If you want to put the link into the chat to the into your channel, maybe we can see if we can find it. We're going to move on here. Let's see. We got Forever 8-Bit with a $10 super chat saying, let me find the channel here. Find when we can actually see. Paste, go, and go. Forever 8-Bit. I'm assuming that's forever. Oh, I like the F8B. That's cool.
Howdy, Tinkerman.
And we've got, hi, Daniel. It's Blaine here. Oh, hey, what is going on, Blaine? Blaine Locklear. This is my second channel. Congratulations, Blaine. Would love to get you guys' feedback on it. Thank you for all you do and for the YouTube family. All right, pal. So Blaine Locklear is a guy who has done very well on YouTube. He's one of my coaching clients. He's in a Battalion members only group. And he's had a lot of success connecting. Just for a little point of reference here, Blaine does a lot of mods and system emulations for gaming stuff. Blaine, coming very close to 100,000 subscribers, my friend. I love where you're going. And Blaine has always been excellent at thumbnails. I think he's now got someone doing them for him, but he's worked very hard to do very powerful thumbnails that grab your attention. Colorful stuff works for him really well, and you can always see it, and he does really well. 8 days ago, 12,000 views. This video will be banned. Get this while you can. Love it, right? And he's doing the mod on, it's just really smart stuff, right? Not even talking about what the mod is. He's just showing it's here. It's a Sonic the Hedgehog. Get this while you can. Super compelling. Smart. 1 month ago, 29,000 views. The easiest Wi-Fi, easiest Wii jailbreak ever. Here's how. Smart, compelling. Just, I love it. So this is the new channel. D, I'm going to have you do it because this is the new channel, and I don't want to be jaded against the guy or say the wrong thing for a guy that I love and I've coached. So I'm going to let you handle
videos. Videos tab.
Yeah. Let me see if I can increase the size.
Let me see two rows. Let me see 2 rows here.
How about, let's go right about there. You got that?
So here's what I've got to say.
Countdown. Let's keep this tight.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so Blaine totally knows what he's doing. The only thing that I would recommend, the only thing with the thumbnails here, is I would test between having you in the thumbnail and not having you in the thumbnail. Because on your tech channel, you're not putting yourself in the thumbnail, you're focusing on the product, and that's working really well for you. I'm just curious if that same thing would work well here, where you're focusing in on the retro stuff, the 8-bit stuff. That's the only thing. I think these look fantastic. You're knocking it out of the park either way. I would just test it with you and without you.
Yeah.
I don't even need 60 seconds. I think these look good.
Love the compelling stuff. Why are people paying $1,711 for the Vectrex? Question over here. The Sega 32X doesn't actually suck. Here's why. Man.
Very compelling.
Compelling. God, you just... Blaine, I love it. I love where you're going with this. I love these.
10 seconds.
I love these advice too. Definitely test with the ones that are 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 views on the new channel. Once they hit their plateau and they seem to be leveling off, test them. Let your data be the guide.
I know Daniel's. Well, first of all, let's say this: he's a battalion member, right?
Yes.
Is he in the battalion, or is he just a
private?
private?
Yeah, absolutely. A coach and in the battalion.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're not a battalion, if you're not in Daniel's private group yet, you need to do it. Yeah. You guys are just hitting milestone after milestone. Every time I turn around in the Facebook group, I see somebody clocking 10,000, 10,000, 10,000.
All the time. What's really funny is, I don't want to add, can I stay here for 1 second, Blaine, just because Dee opened the door. Back in the day, when I first started working with Blaine, this is what we were dealing with. And I said, Blaine, there was stuff that was much more, he hadn't really found that groove. We really started talking about getting strong packaging, started really targeting, triggering the viewer. And now you look at the kind of stuff that he does now, and now his channel is just on fire. Dialed it in. Those really learned how to connect, learned the topics that really work, learned how to speak to his audience, always tweaking, always figuring out which topics work better, how to package it better, how to find those things that trigger his viewer. Man, I expect nothing but success, and I'm going to subscribe right now. You're already at you're already at over 1,500 subscribers, and your videos are driving thousands of views, 2,700 views 3 weeks ago, 2,800 views 2 weeks ago, 2,000 views 13 days ago. Blaine, people, if you want to know how to make content, if anyone who says you can't build a channel, right, nowadays, here's a guy who's doing it right now, second channel. It's not like his first channel has anything here that says like, oh, go leave, and he's not relying and pushing people over. It's just making a successful channel by understanding how to build content for a target audience here on YouTube. Love it.
Yeah,
love
it. Look great. Yeah, I was going to say, and I know Daniel's tested this too. Sometimes thumbnails work better with us in them. Sometimes it works better when we're out of them. It can change per traffic source. So this is something I would be testing with you, not only on a channel-wide basis, but on a per video basis. Test this, like once the video's been up for a while, test it. Is this particular video going to do better with me in it or without me in it? Because I found some of my videos do better without me in it. Some of them do better with me in it. And I got to test it on a per video basis.
100%. I got to throw this one to you too, Dee. This is from my friend Yvonne, who's also she's in the coaching program. I've done some one-on-ones with her. She's one of the battalion members. She is newer to the program, but she's been with us for a bit now. Her channel's Ask Evie, and she said, thanks for the $9.99 super chat. Really appreciate it. And thank you for the $10 super chat too, Blaine. I appreciate that. Evie said, title or no title in the thumbnail? That's the question. Wondering if I'm getting the no writing thumbnail thing right. Dee, can you please take a look at this for me, because you'll have better perspective. Megan, can you give us a countdown here?
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, I'm not your target audience, so the stuff that you're doing doesn't speak directly to me. However, that one right there, the click up in the middle.
This one?
Middle. Yeah, that one, I get a better understanding. So I'm not your target audience, but I know here that without reading your title, I know that you're talking about ClickUp. So if I was interested in ClickUp, that would probably get my attention. So if you're wanting to figure out if you're doing the no title thing wrong or not, I would test exactly what you're doing here. Just putting a little bit of text just to add a little bit of clarity to it, because I don't understand what that is. Thumbnail alone, I don't know what that means. Here's something else from a design standpoint. Be very careful of taking pictures of yourself, your thumbnails, with stuff on your shirt. Because if you start adding text on your thumbnail, our eyes are actually going to fight between text, especially with something like this. right? If you start putting text up, our eyes are going to fight between looking at what's on your shirt versus the thumbnail or the text that you're putting on your thumbnail. So just something to be. I a lot of text for my shirts a lot.
Yeah, I have that.
But some of these are great.
With that.
Yeah, like the imagery. Okay, when you have the actual app,
I'm just
scroll up.
Here a bit.
Scroll up for a second. There, like you've got that app there. Like you see all that. So if I know what ClickUp is and I know what the icon is, that's going to speak to me. So if you're not going with text, make sure you're using imagery where the viewers are immediately going to identify what it is you're talking about.
Look at.
I think they look good though.
Perfect combination here. No text in the thumbnail. ClickUp all behind you. Like kind of the laptop open. No text on your shirt. Great, crazy, frustrated face, and then compelling title. ClickUp. And we know exactly what it is. This is 5+1 things I wish I knew when I started. Super compelling, curiosity factor. Really well. What is it? What is you wish you knew? You look frustrated. What?
Right.
And you were rewarded with higher views than your regular. This is your benchmark, Yvonne. This is the one that you should look at. It caught Dee's eye. It caught your viewer's eye because the views on it are great. Use this as your benchmark to determine. It's never just thumbnail alone. Topic, title, thumbnail, timing, all of that. Get it working together to the whole package. That's a great one.
But if all I had was a thumbnail, that one is still clickable. Like if I identify ClickUp and I know the icon and you look like you're pulling your hair out there, I'm like, oh, what's this all about?
All right there. You can see the frustration. Before you even read the title, you go, how do you represent things you wish you knew? Like, there it is, like, being frustrated, right? That think like the viewer. Love it. Great job, Yvonne. That's looks great. So this was
Another battalion member. Another battalion member.
Yeah,
right?
And they're shaking it up every day. So this was the other channel, the one we couldn't find. This was Juniors.
Yep.
This was the one, The Adventures. This was
it was The Adventure. I thought he said Adventurous.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't know his own channel name. Starts with knowing your own channel. Okay, so this one is my turn. Can you give me a countdown, Megan?
3, 2, 1, go.
Same thing we talk about every time. Lots of images that are pulling my eye in a whole bunch of different directions. This one's pointing at me. This one's pointing at me. Then it's a property. There's a whole bunch of hands with something in it that I can't quite see. And then there's text on top that says, who can invest in real estate? Who can invest in... I think I get what you're trying to do here, but it's so complicated. I think you're trying to tell me that I could invest in real estate, but... Boy, you sent me around the block twice to get me to understand that. And as I go through here, same thing. Some guy, I guess that's one of you, then self-direct IRA, then another guy, and then trying to put the title in the thumbnail, save the title for the title, make a thumbnail that really represents the value. There's too many images going on. Like if there was just the center image, I would think I would have liked this. You keep pulling me. These two people are back to back. They're facing opposite directions. Then it's all you got to simplify
10
it.
seconds.
What you really want to do is think about, find one image that represents whatever you're talking about in that video and stick with one image and try to get something strong and compelling.
Type in real estate investor. What the top videos look like. Real estate investing. That's good. Boom. Look at that. Build your wealth. There you go.
Build your wealth. Look at that. Yep. Smaller house, bigger house, right? Boom, boom, boom. Chart going up. Build your wealth. Build your wealth. Warren Buffett, right? Never buy properties. Picture of Warren Buffett, a house with a big X.
Simple.
That's like the biggest investor out there says never buy properties and then uses yellow for the word properties as opposed to the white, so properties jumps out. And then Warren Buffett, like real advice from one of the biggest billionaires in the world. So that's the kind of thing when you talk about invest. Just think about how to simplify these things. Make it easy for the viewer to understand. Try to do things that really visually. That's why this one's number one in results from Graham Stephan. Graham is so good, right?
Even here, so Graham, here's the thing about putting yourself in the thumbnail. A lot of times when people are putting, they put Warren Buffett in the thumbnail because they want people to identify, oh, that's Warren Buffett, right? Yeah. Instant grab your attention. Elon Musk, right? This, the rich dad, poor dad, right? This guy, they're icons, so it gets their attention. But in this particular thumbnail, Graham could have put himself in there because he's got a huge following. But
there he is right here, right? Two down.
He did there. I bet you he tested that thumbnail and he figured out that for this particular topic, he did better not in the thumbnail. That's a strong thumbnail. Build your wealth with the
1.9 million views on that one. Love it.
Study the people who are just dominating in your industry. Study them.
We've got one here. It looks like this person.
And while you're pulling them up, look at how, if you are going to put people in your thumbnail, look at how they're cropped. Look at how they're full in there. They're not these tiny little people, right? They're not tiny little people on both sides. They're zoomed in.
Yeah. Yeah. Smart. And this one's like, Dave Ramsey reacts to my $25 million investment. So there's Graham and there's Dave.
Right.
And there's Dave Ramsey saying sell. Simple. It makes sense. That's why he's in that. This is triathlon coach John, who super chatted twice. Thank you very much, Coach John. I appreciate that. Hi, guys. I have questions about my packaging, thumbnails and titles specifically. Let's take a look, my man. Let's take a look. Let me pull this channel up really quickly here. 831 subscribers, Triathlon with Coach John. Triathlon made easy. Tips, tricks, training, gear. Okay. Whose was it? Mine or yours?
I think it's yours.
All right. Let me see. Let me go to the videos page. I can probably get 2 rows of stuff up here. Okay. Give me a countdown.
Look at that one. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
This is all text. This doesn't even need to be a thumbnail. You just decided that you needed to put the title twice, so you put one here, and then you just put something up that I can't even see and put text all over it. You do the exact same thing here. That may be your live streaming technique. Like I said earlier, when you make live streams, that doesn't mean that your thumbnails should not be individual important things that sell the messaging. When I go down here, I look at something like this. Elastic laces, cheap speed. That one is one that I actually dig. I think I kind of get it, that it's pointed to the laces. It's got the shoe. Much simpler for me to understand. I can read the font. I can see that, and I can see the arrow pointing to the elastic laces. And an elastic shoelaces versus standard shoelaces. I like this much better, what you were doing in here. That's really smart. I don't like this stuff with too much text. This gets a little cluttered too. I'm still having a problem right here with the cycle water. Grab this safely. It's a little confusing because I can't see the bicycle. So if it had been more of the bicycle and I understood it was a bottle on the bicycle, that would make sense. Try to keep it simple. And I don't hate what you're doing here, but more imagery of the bicycle.
Go to Triathlon Coach. Search
How about just triathlon?
Okay.
Look at some of these images.
Yeah,
look at that image right there.
Man. Yeah.
Swimming, biking, running. Look at that, and look at the way the guy is cropped over the separation. They masked, so he's literally riding out of the shot into the next one. Leg is out of the shot. Man, is that a smart thumbnail right there, boy. Man,
I know we keep going back to this. We keep going back to this, but this is how important it is. Like, if you're in doubt, how do my thumbnails look? How do my thumbnails look? Go search your niche and look at your thumbnails compared to the top thumbnails.
Yeah. Look at that blending of here you're running and here's the guys coming out of the water prepared to go in. Just representing triathlon in the imagery.
Right.
Just
versus
it.
Tons of text everywhere.
Versus would you know that this is, I like this thumbnail, but is this a shoe review channel or is it a triathlon channel? The best sunglasses, is this a sunglass channel or is this a triathlon channel? So the thing I'm losing here is I'm not getting the triathlon thing. That's all missing. Even on the thumbnails that I think are okay, you're not supporting your value prop. So someone who watches this goes, oh, I think this is a product review channel. Triathlon, I don't care about triathlons. I thought it was here for the product reviews. So you gotta really think about representing an actual triathlon well. As I'm scrolling, I'm looking for that triathlon image. There we go. That's a little better. Here we go on the bike. Change gears, save energy. How to shift gears for in an Ironman. 1,200 views.
Look at the difference, right?
Right? There you are on the bike. Got that shit. And you said in an Ironman, you've got the Ironman word in there, so it's not just teaching people things about bikes. It's specifically to the Ironman and triathlon events. Very reticent and reminds me of exactly what we saw when we went up here, the very first thumbnail of the biker. Smart. When you do it right, your audience responds, and you can see that. Here's another one, 3 months ago, 1,000 views, right? 3 months ago, 1,000 views, transition tips, and there's you are around the bike. We get it. You got to lean on what works, man. Lean on the stuff that instantly connects with the target audience, okay?
Yeah.
Wish you nothing but luck. Thank you for the super chats. And congratulations on hitting these over 1,000 view mark. Stick to that. Double down on that stuff. Double down on that strategy.
Yeah, and just, I agree with what Daniel said. They're really simple thumbnails. They look good graphically, but they don't say anything to me about a triathlon. And that's where that disconnect happens.
Yeah, 100%. I am looking for this channel, but I can't see it right off the bat. You got a link for that one?
I don't, but I can get you the next one if you want to.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Put the next one in. Let me see if I can find that one in a minute. Man, you know what's really interesting here, D, is all the different creators and the different niches and the way they're approaching packaging and thinking about the topics. I think one of the things we're definitely seeing here today is how important it is to really the messaging in the thumbnail. A great thumbnail doesn't just begin and end at the thumbnail. It's the title that goes with it. It's the topic. It's how they're presenting the stuff that's true to the viewer to make sure that they're representing the value proposition. There's so much more than just where do I put the font? Should I put my face? It's really about making it easy for the viewer to understand and be compelled and get curious and want to go down that viewing rabbit hole by building that, all of the packaging that goes around that video.
Yep.
Okay, I've got another one here. Let me pull this one up really quickly. Paste, go, and...
Hey, Kathy. Nice to see you. Spectacular advice, Coach John says.
All right, Coach John. I hope that was useful. This is from LA. Either it's LAS Curry or Las Curry. Take that as you may. $9.99 super chat. I teach gamers how to live. Jesus, this is not a good day for me. How to live stream.
How to stay alive.
How to live stream and grow. But I want to serve business with video marketing like live streams and teach tools to grow the business online. Do I kill my current channel? Well, okay, so the goal is right now he's teaching people how to live stream and grow, but he wants to serve businesses more.
Can we see the channel?
Yeah, let me pull that up for you here, just so I understand. I just want to make sure I understood the question of what he's asking. So here it is: streaming tips, tricks, tutorials, growth advice, gear reviews. Okay, so this is the channel. He's asking a specific question, and we are talking about thumbnails. I'll tell you right off the bat, I like the thumbnails.
Thumbnails are great.
One of the questions I would ask, though, is if you saw this one makes sense with the Twitch logo. This one here, I'm a little confused as I'm missing the live streaming part of it. I think this is an Xbox review, and I'm not quite sure. Is it watch Xbox on your... watch YouTube on your Xbox? I know you can do that. Is this go to Facebook on you? I'm a little confused with some of this. So I think that the pieces of the puzzle are here, but some of the connection of that from the outset that it's live streaming, I would just make sure that I thankfully the how to stream to YouTube and how to stream to Twitch and how to stream, the titles really bring it together. So I think that's the connecting point that's working here. But I would be really careful of how hard you leverage in the future some of the consoles, because I would, off the top of my head, if I saw this, I would be confused and think this was really about Xbox. And that's just the vehicle. The real conversation is live streaming. So just be cautious with the packaging. But the question is, D, I'm going to let you handle it. He wants to be... Right now he's teaching people how to live stream, but he wants to focus more on business. Does he think... I think he says, do I kill my current channel? He's asking, will it kill it? Or let's answer both. Will it kill it, or should he kill it and start a new one?
When he says he's wanting to target business, as in he's wanting to help businesses live stream their business, or he's trying to help people create a business? Here's what's going to happen. You're getting a lot of views, 70,000 views, 40,000 views. You get 27,000 subscribers. You're getting a lot of views that are coming in specifically for people learning how to stream on these devices, right? Depending on how, if you're wanting to take businesses and teach them how to live stream, like how a business can benefit and profit by going live, I think it works. But if you're starting to get into like how to build a Shopify store, how to set up an LLC, that way for business, I definitely start a second channel for that. But without knowing the specifics of it, that would be my answer.
Yeah, I'm going to jump here really quick. You know what? Because I feel your pain. I put out a video recently explaining, I had started, my whole value prop on my channel was teaching people how to make better content, put it on YouTube, and grow a YouTube channel. But I focused so much on one specific product, which was Filmora video editing software, for so long that it literally fragmented my audience. So when I started talking more about YouTube, it was very. I'm still in the middle of that pivot of slowly having to shed subscribers. For every one I gain, I lose one, because some people just wanted Filmora tutorials. They didn't care about YouTube, so I'm paying that price now. And one thing I can see right now, when you talk about streaming and talking about best game to stream, you talk about burnout, 600, 500, 300. But when you lean on the stuff that has grown the channel, how to stream to YouTube on an Xbox, better thumbnail by
fragment
the way,
his audience.
Boom.
Right.
Now it's 4,800 views. So I would tell you right off the bat, I'm seeing fragmentation. Now the question becomes, do you continue and go, I'm going to pivot over, I'm going to slowly pivot this channel over towards streaming specifically to help with marketing, video marketing and live streaming, teach tools for growing a business? I would say in general...
He's getting into video marketing. Okay.
Video marketing. I feel that that's enough of a pivot. You should probably bring it to another channel, because you're going to constantly be fighting these views. Every time people are like, I don't care about a business. I'm just here. Teach me how to live stream using my Xbox, or teach me how to live stream. I don't care about I don't have a business. So that's a very different target audience. If it was still live, if your whole channel was always built around just live streaming and using live streaming in general in multiple different ways, and it feels that way, but this feels like you might have done this new. I think this channel art might be a change. This Las Curry or LAS Curry doesn't. I bet you it had a different vibe before, and this is probably a newer channel art that's leaning towards the newer audience. The problem is I think in general, the highest performing stuff, while it did talk about live streaming, it didn't talk about, professional marketing live streamers are not going to be live streaming from an Xbox. Okay, that's a totally different audience. So this is where you're going to be fighting. So what I would tell you is, with the amount of views you've got here and stuff that's producing, I wouldn't get rid of this content. I would probably just start a second channel and go, I'm going to start leaning over there. I'm going to make less of this. I'm going to let this exist. And I'm going to start building a second channel, just like our friend Blaine Locklear showed you can do. If you know what you've learned from this channel, start a new one, and you'll find that you can grow it very rapidly, because you've learned these are 2-3 years old, and your thumbnails were great back then. When I look at the newest, guess what? Your thumbnails are still awesome. These are great looking thumbnails. They're easy to understand. What you need to do though, they're being sent out to people who don't care about business. So I would tell you, this would be my personal advice. Just go to start another channel, and if you don't want to upload to this one anymore, that's fine. Just let it exist. Let it do what it's going to do. Focus on the new gig.
I think you nailed it. Like if he's getting into video marketing and that sort of thing, those people are not using Xbox, and they're probably not even using OBS. They're probably using StreamYard or vMix or something along those lines.
Yeah,
the thumbnails look great though.
I just noticed that my speakers are on very slightly quietly.
That could be where the echo's coming from.
I wasn't hearing the echo, so I'm just having Megan kill both of these speakers. So if there's any little delay that was going on, I apologize.
Way to go.
Yeah, well, you know how I am sometimes. That's how I roll. Kind of an idiot. I'm like, I got earphone. I don't hear any delay, so it can't be me. Who was it? Me. It was me. Totally me. All right, listen. We've got. Let me find this other channel right here. Let me pull this up quickly. This was the Gina's channel.
By the way, I just want to let this creator know here that making that decision to pivot is really tough. I know, Super. Daniel, I think the best analogy that I heard you say was that it's like turning was it a steam or a cargo ship around, or a cruise ship? Turning a cruise ship around, right? You're not on a little speedboat that you can just quickly zip around. Like, you're turning this massive, slow-moving thing around in the ocean, and technically you could make that pivot on your channel, but boy, that's going to be a long, painful process. And if you haven't watched Daniel's video on that, I highly recommend it, because he breaks down what he went through. And it's tough. I have gone back and forth thinking about what I wanted to pivot into for a long time, and it just is a really tough thing.
Yeah. It is. I'd say because you build momentum. That's what I always said. It's easier to turn a rowboat than it is a cruise ship, because a cruise ship gets a lot of momentum, and it's huge, and it's got all this momentum and all these people that are following it. If you just pivot, it's when you're a smaller channel, easier to pivot. When you've got some momentum, harder to pivot. So congratulations on the other success, but I would definitely think about just starting a new channel and nailing it. You won't be fighting your previous momentum. You'll find it easier to gain traction, even though it's hard to let go of those subscribers. You're like, but I have all these people that are here, but they weren't there for that. This is one we just finally found this one. Opt into Beauty. I'm going to throw this one at UD. It's called Opt into Beauty. 320 subscribers. Let me see if I can find... Yeah, there's the thumbnails. Interesting thumbnails. Can you give us a countdown here, Megan? This is all you, D.
3, 2, 1, go.
Before, after. Is that real?
That definitely looks exaggerated.
Okay, keep going.
It's got to be.
I don't know. I'm going to look at some of these others.
This one does not look exaggerated. This looks very real.
Yeah, okay. So, this is one of the situations where you're leaning in on the imagery really hard to get attention. I think... how old is her channel?
Let me see. From December
she's
2021, fairly new.
Okay, she's talking about, okay, I see. Look amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think in terms of when you're showcasing this sort of thing, I think you're doing it right in terms of just focusing in on the faces. I would be careful. So you had the one up the top where you're talking about like kin. Scroll back up.
Which one was it?
That one. Yeah, like, that
This one here?
Like human kin, ... Get rid of the ...
Yeah.
It really, you don't even need their names on there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Just like
10
put their
seconds.
faces up closer, if that's the sort of thing that you're going for. Scroll down a little bit more. The simplicity of your thumbnails, I think, are going to work long term.
This is great, before and after. I like it. Before and after.
It's simple,
works really
super
good.
simple.
I'm going to add one thing in there when thinking about titles. To watch truncation. Truncation does matter. So Bella had it. I don't know who this is, so you're leveraging her name first, but that's fine to have it in there. You could put it. I'd put that at the end. Ugly sister to supermodel, and it says with just a, and I don't get the rest of it, with just a nose job. From ugly, you went from being an ugly sister to a supermodel with just a nose job. It's the same person. You did not represent that well. So I would have said from an ugly sister to supermodel with, and that's it. I mean, only from ugly sister to supermodel, how she went from ugly sister to supermodel, right? And then go, well, how'd she do it? What was the deal? And then maybe go, it was a nose job with some other stuff. It's there's too much in the title that I thought this was before and after. Yeah, but then I was like, ugly sister to supermodel, and I thought it was like ugly sister, the sister of a supermodel, the ugly sister to a supermodel. I thought it was the supermodel's sister. It took me a second for it to click. Simplify it. Try to get it simpler, easier for the viewer to understand.
It worked for her. Yeah, that definitely got.
I think the before and after. I think the thumbnail got there. It lost her, but she's had stuff. Some of her shorts have done 9,000, 10,000 views.
Yeah.
Some of her stuff, when she gets going, she really kicks it out of the park. So I think if you can nail it, I like some of the ideas.
There's another one. Look at that one.
Yeah,
Amber Heard got cheek implants. Look. If you would have posted that in the middle of the chaos with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, you would have probably got a lot more views than that.
Yeah, you waited too long. You missed the tentpole event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, right, super simple thumbnail before after. So I think you're doing a really good job with these.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. Newer channel, smart, super compelling. I love the thumbnails. I love the simple face arrow, nice and smart. Is that really her? Boy,
Oh my goodness, that's
that
real.
really is her. Wow, that looks
I'd
like
brighten that image up. Make that image brighter.
This one almost looks like a Disney Snapchat filter. Disney-fy yourself. I love it though. Super compelling. I think you've got it there. It's only 3 hours ago. My cheeks may explode, but I want them even bigger. I like the quote. I probably would have gotten rid of the even though that's the quote. And I would have said my cheeks may explode, but I want them bigger, and so that it's not truncated, and left the even out of the quote, even though I know it's a quote. Smart. I think you got a lot of good things going on here. Opt-in Beauty really talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I work on your channel art, if anything else. The thumbnails are actually pretty strong. They're vibrant. Just get rid of some of the clutter in some of them. Like you said, you don't need that text in there. That before and after, great.
Fantastic start.
Yeah.
And a lot of your titles are actually good. Really good. Really compelling stuff.
Yeah. And I love that you're leveraging shorts. I don't know how, we were just talking about this earlier. Shorts are really starting to take off now, and you can push back to longer form content much more easily than you used to. So don't be afraid to do that. If you have like a longer story about someone who got these massive cheek implants, don't be afraid to make a, you can make it right from the actual video now. You can actually make a short from your own long form content from the mobile device. But don't be afraid to make a short thing that had like that one interesting perspective or comment or showing her cheeks all blown out. So she got these, so-and-so got these cheek implants done. And she actually was quoted as saying that my cheeks may explode, but I want them even bigger. To hear the whole story, click the link down below, right? Then you can put a link back to the whole story of your longer video, and you just put it down in the description. And so you can actually give them that little nugget of value, like, that lady's crazy. Surely her cheeks are that big and she wants them even bigger. But if people who are interested in watching like the entire story that you talk about it more, then you can just push back to that one. Really smart. Hey, listen, we've been going at this forever. I want to thank all of you who've been hanging in here, sending super chats, showing us these really awesome channels to look at. I have to thank my good friend, Mr. Dean Inman, for staying up all kinds. What time is it over there? Like 2 in the morning? I don't even know.
It's midnight.
Yeah, only midnight. Staying up late with us doing this and helping creators think about how to repackage and get their thumbnails working. It's been really great. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments afterwards. If we happen to miss you, I apologize. We try to get as many of these as we could moving quickly. Dee, any last parting advice you want to give to people when it comes to making thumbnails and packaging?
I think the best thing that was said earlier is something that you mentioned about not putting your nose too close to CTR. This is a mistake that every single creator I've ever known has gone through this. You went through it, I went through it, everybody I know has gone through this. It's really easy to get caught up in the metric, especially when you hear people telling you to focus on that metric. But you have to look at everything at a whole. Look at your impressions, right? You have to look at everything at a whole. And when it comes to thumbnails, we all have to figure out what works for our audience. And you're never going to find one thing necessarily that sticks. This is like an evolving thing. Like what works on one topic or what worked last year or this year might not work this time next year, or might not work with a different topic. So this is something that you're going to struggle with the entirety of your career on YouTube. I still struggle with it. I know Daniel still struggles with it.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes we think we knock it out of the park. We're like, this is it. So I can't tell you how many times I've made a thumbnail where I'm like, this is it. This is it. And then it's just like, just burn, crash and burn. Yeah. Crash and burn. It didn't work. So, just full transparency, no matter how experienced you get, there's going to be times where you just swing and miss. And that's okay. Yeah. That's okay, because we can change our thumbnails at any time. Yeah.
Let me echo that a bit. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to try things out. Because the times do change. If it was just a matter of, this is why television series eventually go off the air, even though they're the hugest ones ever. They reach a point where either they don't work or they haven't. You get things have a shelf life. So same with our content and the way we're packaging. If you find something that used to work great and it's not, don't get frustrated at YouTube. Think about a way to pivot. Think about a way to pivot on the topic, the way you're making your titles, the way you're working on your thumbnails and how it works together. Find a new angle to get new viewers excited about what it is you're doing. Thank you so much, everybody. Again, thank you, Mr. Dean Inman. We will catch you all again. I'll be doing this every month, and we'll see if Dee wants to come back, if I can twist his arm.
I love it.
But I appreciate the time. Thank you, Megan, for making this nice and easy. Thank you, everyone in the chat, and we will see you guys next time.
I missed it. I missed the cue.